Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're going to talk about Ed Wood, directed by Tim Burton. Is it a true story? How true is this story? Let's find out today on Talking About Tapes.
Tapes, we're talking about tapes.
Oh my God, Angela, hello.
Hi.
I'm glad you met me in this real cemetery.
It's a little spooky.
It is. The reason we're here, you guys will find out later in the week. My friends are throwing me a birthday party here.
How exciting.
They didn't invite you. But I was rude. Like, let me film with Angela at the cemetery while I wait for my party that you're not invited to.
No, I don't have to get you a gift. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so we're in this real cemetery, and you might be wondering, like, how do we know it's a real cemetery? There's a skeleton. Where else do you find skeletons? Cemeteries.
Duh.
That's it. That's the only place they exist.
Yeah.
And this skeleton likes to wear women's sweaters. I don't understand it, Angela.
But I want to.
But I want to, and I will accept
it.
Whoever you are, dead person. But yeah, being in the cemetery reminds me a lot about Ed Wood's movies.
Ooh, why?
Because they were in cemeteries often. Now, have you ever actually watched an Ed Wood film?
I have seen Plan 9, and
Yes.
I've seen clips from like Glenn and Glenda and a couple of the other ones.
Yes, Plan 9 from Outer Space, the worst movie ever made. It's not the worst movie ever made. It's not the worst Ed Wood movie ever made. That goes to of the ones I've seen, Night of the Ghouls is one of the worst things I've ever sat through. It's so bad. It's not like as bad as Plan 9 is. Yeah. Night of the Ghouls is way worse. But yeah, I actually talked about Plan 9 on the old channel. I was on Cinemassacre. We did a whole rental reviews on it. Ooh. But no, I was like, you know what? I think it has an anniversary this year, Ed Wood.
Yeah.
It has to, because why else would I have picked to do it? Yeah, so I was like, let's go back and watch this movie. This is a fun movie for us.
Oh my gosh,
because we went to film school. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to criticize a lot of the things Ed Wood did as a filmmaker. And you might be like, Tony, you're just an asshole who talks about films. What do you know? And I want you all to know that I know these mistakes because I've also done them. Everything most things Ed Wood has done when it comes to screwing people over with money. Not yet. I'm working up to that. Most things Ed Wood did filmmaking-wise, I think I've also done. So I know they don't work.
Well, like the wild thing is I'm doing like the calculations, right, of like the inflation like over the years, right? Yeah. So he's saying in the movie it's a $60,000 budget for Plan 9. Yeah. Nowadays money is $700,000, and it's just amazing that, like, I agree. I'm watching this. I'm like, I did that. I've done that in film school, and I did not blow $700,000 to make these same mistakes. So that is what I think is really impressive.
I guess back then it was easier to get backing or find people to back your stuff.
Well, that's part of the movie.
Yeah, that is a big part of the movie.
Spoilers.
Sorry. But yeah, I've watched a number of Ed Wood's films. It's been years since I have this collection here. This nice, what is this?
All right, can I steal that from you?
I mean, these are all free on YouTube. A lot of his stuff is public domain.
That sounds like an excuse not to let me borrow your DVD.
Okay. Woman who borrowed all 4 John Wicks and RoboCop and something else, I think.
I do not have those to give them back yet.
You haven't watched John Wick 5 times yet?
No, it's only been 4, and I need another time.
But yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yes.
He was a very interesting man, a very interesting backstory. So I understand why they made a movie about him.
And it's Hollywood making a movie about Hollywood, which, like, they love to do. Yeah. Honestly, I love to watch. I have a friend who hates all those types of movies, and I'm just like, I can't get enough of them.
It depends. I guess it depends on the movie. Like, I saw trailers for La La Land, and I went, no, thanks.
I never watched La La Land. That was actually one I have not seen.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't care. I'll watch something else. Yeah, I mean, I like the way they filmed it. So at this point, we talked about this around the time of, like, Edward Scissorhands. That was the other one we reviewed last year.
Nice.
Tim Burton was kind of on fire.
Yes, yeah.
He delivered on Beetlejuice, Batman. Batman Returns didn't do as well as the first Batman. But then, like, Edward Scissorhands did well in between Batman and Batman Returns. So he was still pretty proven. So he kind of like Edward Scissorhands was a very, very personal film that he made. And he decided he wanted to do another one about Ed Wood. And he kind of like puts a lot of himself into this movie because
oh my God, yes.
on Edward Scissorhands and like the short that they did before that, he got to meet his idol Vincent Price and work with Vincent Price.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like he worked a lot of their friendship into this.
Yes.
Which is not how the real life friendship between Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi went. I mean, they were
so
friends.
So it depends on like who you ask.
Yeah,
right?
it depends on who
like,
you ask, I think.
I was getting conflicting reports when I was doing my research. Did you watch his short Frankenweenie? Like the short that he did
years ago.
And it's just like I saw that recently and then rewatching this, talking about, I'm like, man, he has a thing about boys who are just misunderstood by society.
Yeah, he does it a little too much.
He has like
or daddy issues. He loves that. Okay, so he did Big Fish, and I'm like, good. He got his daddy issues out of the way with Big Fish, and then he's like, I have to remake Willy Wonka, and I need to make it all all about daddy issues. And it's like, you just did that. Like you don't need to do that. You just did
Johnny
it.
Depp wasn't in that one, so
Johnny Depp, yeah.
Need to do it again with Johnny Depp.
He didn't get to work any daddy issues into his Planet of the Apes movie, unfortunately. So he made up for it with the next two films.
Yes.
I don't even remember the last time I saw a Tim Burton movie. What was his last movie? He did like Goth X-Men. I forget the title of the movie, but it was basically Gothic X-Men.
I don't know. I just feel like
he was just remaking old intellectual properties for a while.
Yeah, I was going through like looking at the Planet of the Apes movies and was like, what do you mean this one's done by Tim Burton? And I saw that in theaters.
Yeah, that was like the weird one that everyone forgets
like,
about.
What?
But yeah, then he just does like, remember Dark Shadows? We're doing Dark Shadows. Right. We're doing this, we're doing that. I didn't see Big Eyes. I heard that was okay.
I didn't see that one either.
But and then he did that Wednesday Addams show, but like barely. He only directed like a few episodes, but they made it seem like it was Tim Burton's.
I wanted to like that so much, and I did not.
Yeah, they really turned Addams Family into Harry Potter.
Yeah,
it was okay. It was
I stayed for like the mystery, but I was mad at it. Yeah. Every episode I watched, I was mad, and then I was like, I gotta watch the next one.
But it's okay because Beetlejuice 2. They're going back old school, and they said there's not going to be a lot of CGI in it. And then I saw the trailer, and there was a shit ton of CGI. Anyway, Ed Wood. Yes. Let's talk about when Tim Burton was good.
Right,
this is
what we're here for.
Probably his best film, maybe people consider.
Yeah, I could see. I actually really love Edward Scissorhands, like the visuals of that. And so this is a very different visuals, but I do love, again,
Oh, maybe Edward you should have been that episode instead of Kaylee who hated it. People get mad when I have someone who hates a movie in an episode. I'm like, why? It's a fun perspective.
I mean, it's good. I love
Not everyone has to like it.
No.
But yeah, let's talk about Ed Wood and some of the stuff you'll learn in this film on how not to make movies. Some of the stuff in here that I did on Mummy Cop, which you witnessed. So
I was there for some of that.
Okay. So this movie has been dated perfectly. It still holds up. It starts off with a Cuties fan.
Greetings, my friend.
Yeah, Jeffrey Jones starts off the movie.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he comes out of a coffin, which I think is from Night of the Ghouls. I think he was in a coffin in that one. And he does a opening speech similar to the one he does in Plan 9.
Yes, yeah.
And he plays Criswell, who is a con man.
Right, which I mean kind of fits.
I mean, I don't know if it's a con man. Like, it's obviously like it's like a lie.
He's got that. He plays the fake psychic on TV, right?
Yes. Which he used to. That was like a popular thing that he did. None of the predictions ever came true.
Right.
Why would Ed Wood become friends with a con man? I don't know. But yeah, played by Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
He's not coming back for Beetlejuice 2.
I wonder why.
Yeah, the trailer they show that there's a funeral for the dad. I'm like,
wow. No one's sad about it.
I think it should have been Otho's funeral. But anyway, Otho's not coming back either because he's been dead for 15 years. But anyway.
Right. I forgot.
So yeah, it starts off with Criswell doing like the Plan 9 speech, which I thought it was a fun way to like introduce the film. So the film, it's telling the story of Ed Wood, but it's filmed like a old Hollywood film.
Right. Black and white, like.
Yeah. And everyone is exaggerated. They're playing exaggerated versions of themselves. Reality seeps in once in a while. Scenes will get like real serious. There's a lot of old style like camera shots like on a tripod, but then it will go handheld randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like almost like a documentary feel in some parts. But yeah, we get this really awesome opening through the cemetery.
Yes, which is, very old school feeling.
Yes, very fake cemetery. Not real like this one.
No, this one's a real one.
This is a real cemetery, but yeah, which mimics Plan 9's opening credits with the tombstones, which I thought was fun. Then it starts going through like miniatures of like a swamp.
Yes.
You get the squid from. It's basically like a celebration of all those films like merged together, or the films that we're gonna see in this movie. They skip over a bunch. But yeah, you got the tentacle fighting the flying saucers off. Now, the music is done by Howard Shore. You might be like, where's Danny Elfman?
Yeah.
Now, this is when they had their falling out. Yeah, apparently after Batman Returns, they had like a falling out. And then they were able to like reconcile. Or no, was it after?
Was it now or after Nightmare?
It was either after.
Because Danny Elfman stays as the singer. He does the music, stayed as the singer, but they replaced him as the actor in Nightmare.
Yes. But so I forget. I go watch my Night Before Christmas. Okay. I'm pretty sure the fact was fresh in my head. But I think this was being done while they were having their falling out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Howard Shore stepped in, and he's using like a theremin.
He is, which is really fun.
I never got to use a theremin. Have you ever used a theremin?
No, I've just watched other people use it.
I feel like I want to try it.
Where do you get one?
That's a good question. But I feel like I want to try it. I'm like, I feel like I could be
right? And you can do the...
And I'm like, should I buy a theremin? I'm like, no, because I know for a fact I'm going to be like, woo, once and be like, I get it.
Yeah, but you could film it and show people that you did it.
What was that one movie? Ever see Another Earth?
No.
You ever saw that movie, like 2011? Like, there's like an Earth that appears next to our Earth, and everyone has an existential crisis over it. There's a long theremin scene in the middle of that movie where Tom Cruise's cousin is playing the theremin for a really long time.
No, but then there's also like speaking of music, they play Swan Lake when you're in Bella's house.
You know why, right?
No, tell me.
Oh, you don't know? You haven't watched Dracula in a long time, have you?
Oh, it isn't Dracula. That's right. I forgot.
So a lot of early Hollywood stuff, they weren't writing new compositions for film. They would just recycle old stuff. I don't know if King Kong was the first. For some reason, I'm remembering people saying it was the first to have an original score written for the movie, but it might be one of the earliest.
Yeah.
But before, they would just be like, get some music from an opera.
Right. And they don't even have it during, like, he goes to the opera, right, to, like, shove the song into the movie, because it was, like, before they figured out that was, like, that bridge between, well, silent films were nothing but music. Mm-hmm. Now we have people talking, and they hadn't really figured out the idea of having like a score under people speaking yet. Yeah. So they kind of were like, he's going to go to the opera. We can get music into this movie. But it's not like...
King Kong really was the one that really like worked it in a little. Like I know when like the chief is walking, they have music going with his footsteps. But before, you watch like early Universal horror films, like this part has music. And then this part's going to be really quiet for 15 minutes with awkward stumbling sound effects. And now we have music again. But yeah, they used the Black Swan theme.
That makes sense. I totally forgot about that.
So yeah, that's why that's part of his theme. So yeah, we open up on Ed. He's outside the playhouse. He's got a play that's starting. He's upset. It's press night and there's no press.
No press.
Bill Murray shows up.
Oh my God, Bill Murray.
As Bunny Breckenridge.
Who had like a really interesting real life.
Yeah, he did. He was like one of the few like openly gay guys in Hollywood. He was from Europe. He was from like, England, I think. He came over. He had a very flamboyant lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And then he was arrested because he tried to take 2 young boys to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't look up more information on that. I'm just like...
I know. It was just like a byline. There was just like OPT dubs.
Yeah, for perversion for driving 2 young boys to Las Vegas. I'm like, who were they? I'm like, I need to know a little bit more information. But we get to learn more about him throughout the film.
Yes.
Bill Murray does a great job.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's pretty great as this really character. The real Bunny guy, me and Johanna, I don't think I ever had a class with him, but we had a teacher that just reminded me of Bunny in real life.
Really?
Yeah, at our high school. He just looked almost exactly like the dude, and also a little flamboyant. So whenever I watch Plan 9 and see the real Bunny, I'm just like, that looks like that teacher we had. So yeah, they tell him they have to start the play.
Yes.
So they start the play. No one is thrilled with it. Everyone's like half asleep in the theater if there are people there. what you call it? Sarah Jessica Parker. What is the play? It's like they're soldiers.
Yes, they're like soldiers at like in a foxhole.
Yeah.
And then like they're talking about like, do you think there's like life after death? Like, or ghosts? Do ghosts exist?
Yeah, and it's like she's an angel and she gives peace. So
She just comes down with a dove.
with the like the sound of the rope. Here's the dove of peace, so you'll change your ways.
And they do like, I think everyone just throughout this movie does a great job of like that switch between I am bad acting now, and then they go into like their actual, then like when like, you know, you call a cut and then they go into like their real character.
Yeah.
It
is funny because they are acting bad on purpose, but then, yeah, you're right. Then they're also kind of exaggerated when they're not doing that.
Right. It's like, it was like a really interesting thing to watch. I think that would have been a fun thing to, as a director.
But Ed's admiring it.
Yes, he loves
he's just
it.
like, wow, I'm really giving it all I got. Ed has a lot of problems. Not accepting reality is one of his problems.
Yep.
So yeah, that night they're at a diner or something later on.
Yeah.
And he's being way too nice to everyone. He's like, everyone was great. I got chills.
Yeah.
Like, Ed, it wasn't that good.
Also, like, he wrote it. Like, I know, like, performers, like, bring something new to it. But, like, that's just, like, a weird thing to be like, wow, your monologue I wrote gave me chills. Like,
because an actor could say it in the way you didn't imagine. Yeah. When you were the reporter, a mummy cop, every line delivery just gave me chills. I'm like, I didn't expect her to say it.
So good.
When you called that one person completely insane, when he had a gun pointed at you. I'm like, wow.
When did you go completely insane?
Insane? You think I'm insane? I'll kill you.
I'm like, most people probably would have said that with fear, but Angela's like, how do you feel being completely insane? So yeah, they get the paper.
Yes.
And they read the review.
Oh my God.
By Victor Crowley. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, how do I know that name? Victor Crowley. And I'm like, Aleister Crowley? And then I looked it up. I'm like, wait, Victor Crowley is the killer in the Hatchet movies.
Wait,
the slasher
really?
films. Yeah.
Oh.
The fourth one is called Victor Crowley. So spoiler, Casey on the show was that director's assistant for a while.
Oh my gosh.
So she's actually in the fourth one, Victor Crowley. She has like a small part in the background at the library scene. So I'm sitting there, I'm just like, so I had to message her. I'm like, did Adam Green get the name Victor Crowley from Ed Wood? And she's like, I don't know. So like I tweeted him and I still haven't gotten an answer.
Rude.
Maybe by the end of this episode, he'll finally respond.
Yes.
But I'm just sitting there, I'm like, Victor Crowley, like I've heard that name. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have that. It sits behind me on this set.
Oh my gosh. The review, as I did not catch this the first time whenever the last time I watched this movie, and then I'm watching it, and then I was like, did they just call Sarah Jessica Parker Horseface?
And she says it.
And she says it.
I feel like she opened herself up for a lot. Like people really like to use that insult on her. And it's
right.
Like, oh.
Was that before or after this movie? Was that like a nod? Was she like doing a nod of like, yeah, I know?
I don't know.
Or did this start that?
Maybe it started it. Maybe it was like a coincidence.
That like she said it and then everyone's like, well, actually, now that you
say it. It is unfortunate because it's gotten worse over the years. Like, oh, man. But yeah, so the review is really bad.
Yeah.
Ed can't take criticism, and I've known people like this. I used to be like this years ago.
We all.
Now I'm just like, yeah, I guess I fucked up. But like, he can't just accept all the wrong. He just found the one good thing that was reported on. He's like, the costume's really good. See, he's like, they don't even mention the costumes and all this stuff. It's like, that's not really a win, buddy.
Right.
Like Suicide Squad got an Oscar for best makeup. That doesn't mean it was a good movie. It just had really good makeup. The movie
Oscar award winning.
There's a couple movies out there where you're like, Academy Award winner. Like, why? Academy Award nominated Norbit starring Eddie Murphy. That was a real thing.
Okay.
Anyway, so he hyper focuses on one detail. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not a costume designer, so I don't know how this helps you.
Yeah.
But he's trying to spin it as a positive. And look, it's good to look for positivity and stuff, but you also have to recognize reality and take criticism and be like, yeah, I probably could have done that better.
Well, then, like, that's kind of why he doesn't ever grow, right? As a director, because he can't take that criticism to, like, say, oh, I did do something wrong. I should change.
The movie version has little moments where he grows here and there. So after that, he's venting to Dolores at night.
Yes.
Because now, like, reality seeps in a little bit.
Yes.
He's like, what if I'm never going to make it? It's like, Orson Welles. That's the whole thing. Like, apparently real life Ed Wood did idolize Orson Welles.
I mean, that's not a surprise. I feel like we went to film school with people who still idolized Orson Welles.
Yeah, I feel like the people we went to film school with thought it was cool to shit on Orson Welles and hate Orson Welles.
Oh, that's true, too.
Because he was overrated. I'm like, no, he was a good film. Not everything. Right. But I mean, like, I don't think Citizen Kane is the greatest movie ever, but it's a really good movie.
It's a good movie.
Touch of Evil is my favorite of his.
I know it. I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Well, get that Blu-ray. You get the assembly version of it. What? Because the theatrical cut was kind of taken away from him and he didn't like it. And then there's his cut. But then he wrote like a bunch of notes on how he would, based off the new footage they shot and his footage, how he would reconstruct it. Ooh. So there's a Blu-ray now that has all three versions, and the reconstructed cut is considered like the best version of it. I will talk about Touch of Evil later when we meet Orson Welles in this film. But yeah, so they were kind of similar. Orson Welles did a lot of stuff himself. He had trouble with funding and stuff. The difference is Orson Welles was a little bit more talented. And I'm sure he was an alcoholic later in life, but I don't know how bad it was earlier in life.
Yeah.
Whereas Ed Wood, based on the documentary I watched, The Haunted World of Ed Wood, he struggled with that a lot. They don't really linger on it too. They show him at bars a lot, but not
like in a problematic way. Like it's not like watching the movie, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's always like he's just like blowing off some steam. I guess they didn't want like two addicts in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like for storytelling purposes. I'm like, okay, well, that's something I actually could have connected them a little bit more, but.
Right.
But yeah, he's venting to her that he's not going to make it. And she's trying to be supportive because the real life Dolores was pretty supportive.
To me, Edward Wood was the Orson Welles of low-budget pictures.
This movie will make you think otherwise.
Yeah, she's kind of just a little bit of like a roadblock in this.
Yeah. Although the one thing where she tries to sabotage the set was true. I got some funny story there. But yeah, it's kind of, looking at her now, I kind of feel like I did with Pete and Shaun of the Dead, where I'm like, I used to think he was a dick, but now that I'm older, I'm like, nah, I'm kind of on her side with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has no idea where her sweaters went.
Where could they be?
And I love that shot of like.
Shot is so good.
Of him just like under the cover.
But like he turns to the camera and is just like his face. He does. I mean, it's Johnny Depp, but he does great expressions for this whole movie. Mm-hmm. There's just so many close-ups of him just like emoting.
Yeah, because he kind of has to. Yeah, he's like, I love the smile that he does. So yeah, then he's running props all throughout the film set. And then the weird old guy from Halloween 4 who picks up Donald Pleasance's character shows him some stock footage. I'm sure he's been in other things, but that was the role that reminded him. I'm like, it's that weird old guy. And he shows him a lot of stock footage.
Yeah.
And Ed gets the idea of making a whole movie based around stock footage.
Look, was ahead of his time.
Look.
I can't tell you how many videos.
Look. Stock footage is very useful.
Yeah.
I've used stock footage. It's a very good thing. You can't always film a lot of these things.
Right.
It's better to have it. And like, you better to just get it, work it into your film. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to get stuff that you need without having to do it yourself. You shouldn't base a whole movie around your access to stock. I've seen movies that were mostly stock footage. They're really bad because they're shot in different camera qualities, at different times.
Frame rates.
There's a lot of to this day, there are still bad movies that they're like, hey, we're going to shoot like 10 minutes and put a bunch of stock footage in there. As a Godzilla fan, there are some later Godzilla movies in the 70s and stuff where they use, there's one movie that's mostly stock footage. And I'm like, come on. I know this. I've seen that movie. I know in real life, people probably would have missed a couple movies, but I'm just like, come on. So yeah, his idea to make a movie mostly about stock footage, or just like, I have this footage, I need to incorporate it.
Right,
like,
that's the thing. It was like he's spitballing. He's like watching the stock footage, and he's like, here's the movie.
Yeah. And it's like, no, you're missing the point of stock footage,
Right.
buddy. Come on. Michael Bay reuses his own footage.
Does he?
Yeah.
I can't remember this story, but the car crash in Vanilla Sky, where
Yes.
like off of the bridge.
Yeah.
It was like in a TV show, and I was like,
Oh, Scrubs. I think
that
it's Scrubs.
was it. And it was like, I remember watching the TV show, and I'm like, that looks so familiar. And I don't know if they got the rights to use
They
that,
probably did.
or they just.
I mean, that was like an NBC Universal
I
thing.
know, but apparently, like the Simpsons would just take sound clips and not
Yeah.
ask questions, like not ask anyone. They just throw it in there. And
Sounds a little. You can get away more with sounds.
That's true. Sounds,
Yeah.
and it was Fox. Fox is like.
But Michael Bay reuses his footage a bunch. Like I know, like one of the Transformers 3, I think. There's like a bunch of robots chasing people on a highway, and there's like this weird futuristic truck that gets crushed. And I remember being like, what was the deal with that truck? That wasn't like a robot truck. It's because it was from his movie The Island, where something else crushed the truck. But
Yeah.
he was like, wait, I like that scene. Throw a robot over the thing.
Oh my gosh.
I think like there's a scene where like the robots are like sinking battleships, and he's using footage from Pearl Harbor. He just added robots to it.
Oh my god.
So yeah, even big Hollywood films do this, like recycling footage. It's fine. You just can't do a whole movie.
Can't
built
base
around
the
it.
movie around it, but I love this idea of like how all these movies in this,
Yeah.
even like non-Ed, like it's great.
Yeah, yeah. Although this was how I learned that stock footage was a thing. I'm like, that's a thing?
You're like, oh great.
I'm like, they don't just always get into helicopters and fly around the city every
Right?
single time they need footage of the city. Okay, so then he hears some ladies talking about the Christine Jorgensen story,
Yes.
about the sex change. They're reading it in Variety.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, someone's making a movie about the Christine Jorgensen sex change thing. And Ed is real drawn to this story.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to do this. If you're under 30, don't watch this movie. I'm thinking of the conversation the girls are having. I'm like,
yes.
I can't wait for this one to get yelled at by whatever.
I mean, setting, it's 1953.
Yeah.
Is when this is currently happening, right?
Yeah,
So.
They don't care. The minute Seinfeld went to Netflix, I had to tell my editor, Jess, because she's younger. I'm like, don't let any of your friends watch Seinfeld, please. Don't let any of your friends watch it. All right. So yeah, he's real drawn to this story, and he wants to direct it. So yeah, then he decides he's going to pitch himself to Mike Starr's character, who plays Georgie Wise. Mike Starr was in Dumb and Dumber. He's one of the hitmen in Dumb and Dumber. He's the one that they kill on accident. He's in a ton of movies. He was on an episode of Millennium.
He's in it so much. I feel like you just look at him and you know.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I've seen him.
I'm on this mission to get people to remember the show Millennium because no one remembers the show Millennium.
I don't.
It was a sister show to the X-Files,
Oh, okay.
but it never streams or gets replayed, so everyone's forgotten about it. The main character
position.
gets his story finished in an episode of X-Files that's more remembered for Mulder and Scully's first kiss than it is for being the official ending of a show. Anyway, Mike Starr, great actor.
Yes.
I can listen to this guy yell constantly.
Oh,
He's really
yeah.
funny.
Oh, really? Well, screw you!
Hi, can I help you?
Ed then describes to him he explains to him why he's qualified to do this.
Yes.
And it's because Ed Wood wears women's clothes and he enjoys wearing it.
Yes.
This part was all true. After the the documentary, because I'm like, all right, how much was exaggerated? I've listened to the documentary and I'm like, oh, it's all true. His mom apparently did dress him up like a girl because she wanted a girl.
Really?
Which, lady, come on. I've seen Sleepaway Camp. It doesn't end well. Don't do that. But yeah, apparently he just got used to it.
That was like a thing. He liked
That was
it.
like a thing, but
I love his explaining it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I wore a brassiere when I was parachuting. And I was worried someone would I'd get hurt and the doctor would see.
yeah, he was like, I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of being injured and then finding out. He was injured though, we find out later. His teeth.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I got the story on that. So yeah, he's like, I know what it's like to live a lie. And this qualifies me. And I like that Georgie's like, Dude, I don't know what you think I am here. We make like schlock, like.
And he says the movies have to get done in like 9 weeks.
9 weeks. And it premieres in Tulsa. He sold it in a bunch of redneck areas.
Yeah, he sold it. There's a poster.
Yeah, I changed my sex. Yeah, that's the poster.
He's like, the movie is based on the poster, and he is adamant about that.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, yeah, it's not the Christine Jorgensen story anymore. I couldn't get the rights. They printed the story before he could get the rights.
Yes. But he already had made the poster, so he's going with it. Like, that's again, like the wild, like.
Again, that is a way to make a movie. That is a way to come up with an idea for a movie.
I mean, there are some movies where you look at the title of the movie and, like, they thought of this title and then made a movie based off of it.
I believe when we did Leprechaun 4 in space, I think they got the idea because they were looking at, like, an Apollo 13. Or was it Apollo 13? That movie?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, they were looking at a poster for that, and they were like, what if we put him in space? Again, this is a way to come up with an idea. It shouldn't be the only way. A clever title or pun should not be the only way you come up with a movie. There's a lot of them. They're usually not good. Join Patreon and listen to our commentary for Noah's Shark. See, your reaction, you're probably thinking of a really cool movie. Yeah. That's not the movie you're going to watch. You're going to watch a lot of out-of-focus shots and bad audio and an overly convoluted... There's no arc. There's like a barn that they're trying to pass off as an arc. Shark demons.
Why would he need to save a shark from a flood?
No, that's not even it. There's like a shark demon, and it's so bad.
Oh, he's fighting a shark. Okay, well, no spoilers.
But yeah, there are people today who make movie like zero budget films based off the title and stuff. I'm like, okay, that works sometimes, but you have to have a good story.
There's got to be more than just a pun in a story.
Look, Mummy Cop is not the best story, but it exists. I didn't just come up with a name and call it a day. I'm like, oh no, let me try to think of like actual jokes and puns and like a narrative to follow. Wasn't great. I was in my early 20s, but whatever.
So yeah, but that was a 9-week movie.
Yes.
And they shoot it. It premieres in 9 weeks, so it films in 4 days. He says, all right, they need to. All filming has to fit into 4 days. It's a $20,000 budget, which is $225,000 roughly now.
Okay.
And I guess which isn't terrible for a 4-day shoot, but like getting a whole movie.
I mean, that's still considered low budget these days.
Oh yeah, but I mean like.
But the movie tries to play it off like this is his first film. And in real life, that was not the case. Oh. He actually had like a partner that he was like filming commercials and stuff with who's like not in the movie. They had like separated, like they went their separate ways before this. But he actually filmed a Western before this. And the documentary shows some of the footage. Ooh. They could only do one take.
Well, of course.
And he's one take freak over here. But like the problem is like they show like the footage. It's actually really funny. The horses like weren't like trained, so they weren't being cooperative. So like in the middle of a shot, they just disappear, and it's the same camera angle and same like kind of shot. But like he shoots the guy, and the horse gets all upset, and like there's a jump cut. And the horses are just gone because they were too much of an issue.
Oh my god!
He has a coffin that was just cardboard boxes spray painted black, and they threw water on it to add texture. So yeah, in real life, he had already made a film. Okay. He was already filming stuff, mostly commercial stuff.
I mean, that makes sense because it's rare that you just like walk into a studio and say,
and just, I want to be a director.
I'm going to be a director today.
Yeah, because it was be like, what is your qualifications? You run props at a thing?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? So yeah, he's like telling him, I'm the one who's equipped for this. I could do this. And Georgie like hesitates to hire him. So then he gets drunk.
Yep.
But not too drunk. And he stumbles on, of all people, Bela Lugosi.
Too constrictive. I can't even fold my arms.
Who's trying out coffins.
This is such a wonderful scene that I was really sad I looked it up. Did not happen at all in real life. They were like introduced through mutual friends.
Yeah, Which is funny because Lyle Talbot, who he filmed with, in the documentary, he's like, I met Ed and he said that I was his favorite actor and he loved all my stuff. He's like, and then I had learned that he said the same thing to Bela Lugosi. So the movie's trying to be like, wow, this wonderful friendship. But like in real life, like, he was just trying to get whoever he could.
Right.
But yeah, he's trying out coffins because he's planning on dying soon. But he doesn't like the coffins.
No.
And he doesn't like most things. And he's played by Martin Landau.
Who is in Mission Impossible TV show.
Yes, the prequel to the movie.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of things. And I had a funny one in my head, and I forgot it. I had a really funny example of like a really stupid Martin Landau movie, and I totally lost it.
Oh, I don't.
I think it's about like a super motorcycle. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, Martin Landau.
He's great in this.
He got the Academy Award for this, I believe.
Did
right?
he?
Yeah, winner of 2 Academy Awards. Does it say what they won for? I think he got Best
Supporting?
Actor. Oh, yeah. Academy Award-winning performance by Martin Landau. Yes.
No, he does such a good job in this.
Oh, he's great in this. Bela Lugosi's son. Not a fan of this interpretation of his father.
No.
Because he was just like, the thing I object to the most. Also, Bela Lugosi Jr., not a fan of Ed Wood.
To me, Ed Wood was a user and a loser.
He's like, the thing I object to the most is the foul language. Because he's like,
Yeah, he said that
yeah.
his dad would never say those words.
But I mean, for an entertaining movie purpose.
This is so great.
That was a great idea.
It worked so well in the film. Like this stark difference, right? Of like this old classic Hollywood, like.
It is funny though, because I've watched a lot of Bela Lugosi movies, and I can't
yeah.
even imagine him saying any
Right?
words like that. I'm like, I don't see that.
But like that's like the joke, right? It's like, you could never see like Dracula being like that shitball, right? Like stuff he calls Koloff in this.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about the Karloff thing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Ed is fanboying over him.
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
he's just like, wow, you're way scarier in person. Because before the movie, Bela Lugosi did do like theater performances as Dracula.
yes.
Yeah, and the Ed who grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York, said he saw him perform. That's why he got to be in the movie Dracula. But yeah, apparently he was very good in person, like on stage. You know what? No footage of it exists, but people found photography of Raul Julia as Dracula.
Oh.
The guy from the Addams Family.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
like, man, I would love to see that. I've seen him as Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein Unbound, Roger Corman's last directed film. There's time travel in it. Anyway, I'll tell you about that later. There's a whole episode. Go back and watch a Frankenstein Unbound episode. Bella's sad. He hasn't worked in 4 years.
Yeah.
The industry's changing. He's not being picked up. I think in real life, like, there weren't just many roles. Like, he couldn't drop the accent.
Yeah.
So it kind of limited, like, how many roles he could get. And they're like, well, you're kind of known for Dracula. Even though he only played Dracula twice.
Right.
Yeah.
But
He was in more Frankenstein movies, I think. Or no, the same amount, I guess.
I think we're at that point. Like they mention it in here, right? It's 53. So yeah, there's the old monster Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is like old, right?
Yes.
Now it's considered like
Yeah, they're playing
old fogey, right?
They're playing them on TV late at night.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like what? That's what my mom would watch, right?
Yeah,
like,
after
there's-
like World War II, those movies kind of slowed down. Also, a lot of Frankenstein movies were supposed to be in Germany, and then they had to come up with fake country names.
Right. Like they had to like move things around, and then so now we're getting into like like the atom
atomic
bomb,
age,
yeah,
the sci-fi stuff, which he doesn't like.
radioactive, yeah.
He's one of those like I refuse to change. It's like okay. So we see it with like boomer directors and stuff. I'm like,
Oh my God, yeah.
if you're still successful and you can get away doing with what you want to do, then like that's fine. You don't have to like the new thing or adapt if it's still working out. But then you see like directors who can't get funding or anything. It's like, well, you're not really making the movies that like people want to see or something. Like,
Yeah.
you got to adapt a little bit.
Right. That's the.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Not everyone is Steven Spielberg who can produce a Jurassic Park movie and then make a little indie film that'll just bomb and it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter because it's one for you, one for me.
Yeah,
That's, like.
Because people were like, no one saw that Fabelmans movie. I'm like, yeah, but he put out a Jurassic Park movie before that his studio produced and he made $1 billion. Like, who gives a fuck?
It doesn't matter, yeah.
He's just making movies for himself now.
Well, that's why he did the first Jurassic Park, right? Was so that he could make Schindler's List.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a very tried and true way of making movies.
But you got to adapt with the times. It was just this movie should show you, like, yeah, you got to adapt a little bit and kind of. You don't want to be left behind.
Like, at the end of the day, you make a movie so people watch it, right?
Yeah.
If no one wants to watch that type of movie.
And don't get me wrong, your movie might not be appreciated now.
Right, oh yeah.
Maybe you'll be like Ed Wood, well, they'll appreciate it years later, but not for, like, good reasons. It's not like a
ironically.
painter where you're like, wow, he was ahead of his time. It's like, oh my God, we could have been
Right.
laughing at this for years. But yeah,
So there's like that, right?
his big
element.
complaint about sci-fi films is that it doesn't make girls horny, apparently. He just goes on this whole speech about women seeing blood and childbirth, and I'm
right?
like...
He does go on, like, what a wild tangent about, like, yep, blood and childbirth. That's what really gets me going.
And then he's like, if you want to make out with your girl, take her to see Dracula, as if it's still playing.
Right? It's so...
So he goes home and he brags to Dolores. I love that. Like, I got great news. You got the job. No, I got better news. Better than not getting the job.
Right? Like this, like going like down the list of like, she keeps being like, I don't know what's this great news. You
She's naming other actors like
Yeah.
Basil Rathbone, who was in A Frankenstein with Bela Lugosi. I think that was Son of Frankenstein and Ghost of Frankenstein. Was he in all three of them? I think he was in all three of those. Sorry. I watched a lot of those last year. So yeah, he tells her, like, I met Bela Lugosi, and she's just like, oh, I thought he was
He's
dead.
That's like also the running joke.
And yeah, the running joke is just like, hey, he's dead. No, he's alive.
No, he's very much
Kind
alive.
of.
He's supposed to be around like 70, 71, if I did my math correctly.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just like, wow, it's amazing. And then his coworker's like, he's a bum.
Yeah.
He's like, he's a junk. He's like, no, he's not. And it's like,
oh.
Yeah, I know he is.
Apparently he had like sciatica, or he had like...
Yeah. He had an issue with his leg, I think.
Yeah, and that's like like a legitimate reason why he got hooked on.
Yeah.
But that is sad.
Was morphine different back in the day? Like, because...
They just like gave it out.
Because I've had a couple surgeries where they gave me morphine. I didn't feel shit. And I mean, not like, oh, I felt great. I'm just like, my appendix surgery. I'm like, I'm in so much pain. Like, we just gave you morphine. I'm like, did you? I didn't notice.
I think they're a lot more stringent on how much they give and when they give it versus, back then they just were like, they'd send you home with it. They're like, go have fun.
Take it. Have fun. Go nuts.
And so I think that's how he got started. But he was, unfortunately, in his later years.
Yeah. So his coworkers making fun of Bela.
Yeah.
They hang out later on that night on Halloween. Ed and Bela. And they're watching White Zombie.
Yes.
Which is where people mistake, like, everyone always visions Dracula with a widow's peak. He didn't have a widow's peak.
No, yeah.
They're mixing White Zombie with Dracula. White Zombie is the one where he had the widow's peak. I thought that movie was public domain, but apparently it's not.
It's not?
No.
When was it made? It's got to be soon, right?
It's got to be, I assume. But I thought about, I'm like, why doesn't that like play? Why is no one why have they made like 10 remakes of that?
Oh.
Great movie. I like White Zombie. So yeah, he's like showing him how to do the hand gesture. He's like, you have to be double jointed and Hungarian.
Yes.
Hungarian. Those are the two things you have to be.
Things you need.
But he's very tired. And he has to go take his medicine. And this is like the first time you see him shoot him up. Great cinematography here. I like how you just see the silhouette. And Ed is like kind of ignoring it, but he sort of knows what's going on.
It's one of those things when you like know your friend's not doing something they should be, but you kind of don't want to get involved. So you're just like,
should I wait for them
They pull out the phone. You're like, oh, I got to look at something else.
Yeah, what's over there? I don't notice anything weird going on.
It's a good like build throughout this movie on... Right, because we're kind of right there with Ed. Where like we don't see it until he's forced to see it.
Yeah. And Ed's not the best help either. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like very like eager to ignore it, and I think it's like the way like the audience knows what's happening, but again like we don't.
Yeah.
We're like living it.
He knows what he has to do and like what he should say, but he's just not ready to do it.
Yeah.
But this energizes him, the morphine. He's suddenly real excited. I do love that Bela Lugosi just has a giant poster of himself in his house. What kind of self-centered asshole just has images of themselves all over? I could never be that guy. I'm very modest, okay? I'm very, whatever the word is. I can't even.
You can't think of the word, but you're just
pretend I'm such an asshole.
Humble?
Humble. That's it. That's the word. I said, what does that mean exactly? I'm not familiar.
You're not like yeah.
Anyway, Oh, okay. So here he tries to scare a bunch of kids dressed up
Yes.
as Dracula. And one kid isn't scared.
Nah, he's like too cool for school.
Yeah, he's too cool. But then Ed takes his front teeth out, and it terrifies the kid. From what I remember from the documentary, when I wasn't like cleaning, I try to remember it. I think he was like attacking a guy, and there was like a bayonet or something, and it like knocked out his front teeth. Yeah, so that's how he like lost his teeth. They never say why. He says he lost them in the war, but they never said why. So it's like, did I say bayonetta? That's a fucking video game. A bayonet like knocked his teeth out. So Ed tries to pitch casting Bela in the sex change movie to Georgie, and he's like, "Who fucking cares?"
He's like, "That's that." Where? Oh wait, I wrote it down. His quote was, "I don't make movies, I make crap." What a great line as a producer to tell your director.
It's like, hey, these days when people ask me what I do, I'm just like, I'm a clown. I'm just a clown. We'll just leave it at that.
That's great.
I just sing and dance. I'm a clown.
Do I amuse you?
I quoted that to someone recently. I had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah.
That's the best part of that movie, besides like the Steadicam shots.
So yeah, he's just like, Ed, do whatever you want. Just make sure it's 7 reels long.
7 reels long. I double checked. It's what, like 10 to 11 minutes on a reel, right?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. And then the movie did come out to be a minute and an hour and 5 minutes. I looked.
He needs transvestites.
Yeah.
Get me transvestites. I need transvestites. All right. What?
I like how Bella's just like, what movie is this?
He's at first, he walks in so excited and he sits down and then he gets so quiet. Like, what kind of movie is? But I love it. And it's like, he's all about, he's calling up Bunny.
Yeah.
Bunny's got the connections. He's so ready to like make this movie.
And he's real excited about it. And he's trying to explain Bella's role in the film.
Yes.
And he's having trouble. If you've ever seen Glenn or Glenda, it's because the role makes no fucking sense. It has nothing to do with anything. He just wanted to put Bela Lugosi in the movie. And he couldn't figure out a way to do it. So he has him as this weird narrator. Even though the movie already has a narrator, you don't need Bela Lugosi. There's no reason for him to be in this at all. But he's like, you're like the puppet master who pulls the strings. Pull the strings.
Pull the strings.
I remember when I watched Glenn or Glenda, I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no reason for him to be in here.
I love that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
What a surprise. One of Ed Wood's movies doesn't make sense.
Yeah, could you believe it? I couldn't believe it. And by the way, putting in a big actor and just to shoving a big or washed up actor into a piece of shit, that happens a lot. That happens a lot.
Oh, does it? I haven't noticed.
Yeah, most of Eric Roberts' movies in the last like 10 years.
I've seen so many. I had a friend who was in a movie with Ice-T, and Ice-T was paid to show up, but he was not paid to act. Like, let me tell you, in this movie, he is clearly reading cue cards. Yeah. Deadpan, no emotion. For the 2 scenes he was.
Eric Roberts is just in any. Michael Madsen's another one who will just be in anything, and they'll put him on the cover. What did I watch a few years ago? So you know the Conjuring movies. Yeah. Okay, they had that crooked man in the second movie, and he was supposed to get his own spin-off like The Nun did. Okay. Ended up not happening. And I think they canceled it because now a Hellboy movie. They're making another Hellboy.
Another Hellboy?
I still haven't seen the last reboot that failed, and they're doing another reboot.
I was gonna say that I haven't seen it since Guillermo del Toro's.
I thought this new one was direct to video, but it's in theaters. I'm like, you guys just did this and it bombed. Why are you doing this again? Give it like 10 years.
Are they trying to like hold on to the rights?
I don't know.
The way that like the whole Spider-Man.
I have no idea, but. The Crooked Man was supposed to get his own movie. It didn't get made. So someone else, because I guess it's based on a public domain thing, made their own Crooked Man movie. Ooh. And they put Michael Jai White in it from Spawn. And a lot of other really good movies. But the Spawn. He's on the cover and everything. And sure enough, me and my friend Anthony Renfield from Mummy Cop, we watched it a few years ago. He's like in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on.
Just enough to like put him on the poster.
I wanted to see Spawn fight the Crooked Man.
Give him top billing.
Michael Jai White and Eric Roberts. They can both be in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, and then they can be in movies like Sharktopus and The Crooked Man. There's so much range. Anyway. Oh, by the way. What? I say this as someone who put the wrestler New Jack in his film just because he knew someone who knew New Jack. Just to play an unruly bar patron. I didn't give him any lines. I told him, like, hey, when the camera rolls, just yell at that guy. Because I watched enough of New Jack's wrestling promos. I'm like, he's got this. Nothing I could write could be anywhere near as good. So I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of saying New Jack is in my movie, and he literally just has one scene.
But again, did you spend $225,000 on
No,
your
I
movie?
did not.
I think that's what I'm still so impressed about. Is like how much money. Again, these are all very low budget movies, but the level of low budget, like of the actual budget to like the production value, I feel is still very different.
Yeah,
like, student films on,
I don't even know
pizza and whatever.
I have no idea how much getting on the slide cost. Not that much. I can guarantee you that.
My student film was on film, and because of that, it cost like $2,000 because I had to pay for the film to get developed.
Yeah,
but other than
said,
that, everything else.
Remember when I said think ahead and see what people are doing? I'm just like, seems like Hollywood's moving to digital.
No, I knew Hollywood. I was like, if I don't shoot on film now, I will never shoot on film.
I shot on film like in my first college, and it's just a pain in the ass to work with, and I'm like, no.
It's,
I'm like, no, I'm good. Well, they were still teaching us to manually edit film. I'm like, but they don't do that anymore.
That doesn't make sense.
I get shooting on film.
Yeah.
They don't.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they still use a non-linear editing system, even with film.
Yeah, so that was annoying. That's why I just film mine digitally. I'm like, fuck it. I wanted to do a bunch of takes. All right.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Well, that's also right. Like, he never does.
Yeah.
Got to keep it tight.
They make it more like he's incompetent, but I think it might have just. I feel like it was a budget issue. It was like
budget and time.
We just don't have time for it. So anyway.
Yes. They pay Bela $1,000. Again, that's going to be like close to $12,000 nowadays.
That's pretty good.
So that's pretty good because you think he probably had one day of shooting.
Yeah. Then he has Dolores read the script.
Yes.
And then she finishes it and opens up the door and sees him in her clothes.
Yes.
She does not react positively.
And the wig is like very similar to her hair too, right?
A very stark contrast to how the character acts.
Was she good in real life?
Here's the thing, though. After watching that documentary, I know, like, through a 2024 lens, you're like, she needs to be more accepting and stuff. Ed apparently would stay at friends' house, be really drunk, and then just wear their wives' clothes and walk around without hair. Not that you even could ask.
Yeah, but
it's like,
still.
So you put it on, you knew it was wrong, and then he just walked around and like, dude, you have a problem. Like, this is not just I like to wear women's clothes. Like, no, but when you're stealing clothes.
Like, you can't steal clothes from someone else that, like.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
My trans friend Trixie, she's been in a couple of places that I lived at. When I had a girlfriend or anything, she never once tried to steal my girlfriend's clothes.
Right, that's just like, you don't steal other people's clothes.
It's like, no, you can dress like a woman, but I mean, could you not steal my girlfriend's clothes?
Right, like, it would be weird if, like, you came over my house and then, like, I woke up and you're wearing Bob's clothes. Like, no questions. You were just like, hey, I felt the need to wear your husband's clothes. Like, I'd be like,
No, if I'm wearing a guy's clothes, then it's just like, hey,
Yeah, but you would ask. That's what I mean. Like, you got to ask first.
I'm thinking, like, realistically, I'm like, that means we stayed up and we drank and I threw up and I needed to wear some clothes. I wouldn't just be like, I need to wear Bob's clothes.
But that would, right? That's what I think is, like, the weirdest part is that, like, there's no reason for it and he didn't ask. But also it is of the time that you can't. In the 50s, he couldn't have.
So I get what the movie's trying to say, and I know like people relate. Like, but look it up. He had an issue with just wearing other people's. And like, I get it. You had to be secret, but like, don't do it while you're staying at their house and then walk around wearing the clothes. You're gonna get in trouble. But again, he was really drunk a lot of times. He wasn't really thinking right. So she's not a fan of it. And the real life Dolores was not a fan of it. But she's like stuck by him for a little bit.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, she was still like trying to be supportive. Like, she didn't accept it really, but like she didn't hate him.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
she makes
think-
that very clear in the documentary because this movie kind of makes it seem like she was a real like asshole.
Right. I think it was, I think that would be just very hard to even understand as like if you grew up as like a Midwestern woman in the 50s, like that would be a very weird concept to like never having been introduced to that yet, you know?
Yeah. So Georgie is not thrilled with all the changes Ed did. He changed the title of the film. He changed the whole point of the whole set. When you watch Glen or Glenda, the whole sex change stuff is like teased at the beginning and then thrown at the very end.
It's like really that he wanted to make a movie about himself.
Yes. By the way, in Glen or Glenda and in an earlier conversation throughout the film, they have to remind you that he is not gay.
The transvestite is not interested in those of their own sex. The clothing is not worn to attract the attention of their own sex, but to eliminate themselves from being a member of that sex.
I love every time it comes up. He is so adamant about how much he loves having sex with women.
He was a womanizer. According to the title, they're like, he actually liked women a lot. I think it got him in trouble.
He's a very like...
But even in Glen or Glenda, he has that whole scene. He's like, he likes wearing women's clothes, but he's definitely not gay. Don't get any wrong ideas.
No, he like the whole time.
Not realizing anyone watching this at that time would just group that together.
Right? It's so great of this idea that no, it's like really is just wearing women's clothes.
So but he's pissed. He's like, you changed the whole thing. He's just like, he's like, I already made the poster. And he's like, change the poster. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Again, the poster is it. No, that was the movie they sold.
Yeah.
In Tulsa.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're doing it. Fine. They filmed their first scene on location without a permit.
Is this not like this like flashbacks to film school, this scene?
Yeah, I rarely ask for any permit or permission. No. Except for the getting on the side of Mummy Cop because we filmed at a police station. For the race scenes and stuff like that one, you kind of needed it. You kind of needed that. But everywhere else, it's just like, I hope no one cares.
Yeah, you just kind of took your camera, like like you filmed until someone called, like, what are you doing? And then you ran away really
You're like,
quick.
nothing.
Yeah, the great, like, he does the one take and the
you want to do it for safety? No, it was perfect.
Yeah, what is there to,
Again, if he said, no, we don't have enough footage.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. But he's like, no, it was perfect. He's trying to justify his shitty decisions. Like,
but there is, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, they don't have a permit, so they have to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
And then again, with the idea of like you have to buy the film and then you have to pay someone to develop the film. So every minute of film costs money, unlike, nowadays. So it is. I'm sure realistically it was a money thing.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they make it very
There are
goofy.
Times, though, where it's just like you really should have did a second take.
No, you needed a
I
second
get you're
take.
just looking at a window. How many different ways can you do that?
Right.
I understand if you're on time. And by the way, I'm very guilty of not doing as many takes as I should. But the last like the Halloween short that I did and the Die Hard short, there were very tight deadlines for that. And it was one of those
I'm pretty sure I got it in 2. Let's go.
Yeah, there were arguments that it was just like, hey, we got to do this again. I'm like, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, but we don't have time. And it just needs to get out. I know in a perfect world, but we don't have time. Halloween is on the way. Christmas is on the way. It needs to get out. So I understand that. But even then, if I fucked up something, I probably didn't get the best take. But I didn't leave in a mistake. That's the thing.
And also, again, with the idea of film, is that you could do it and it could be perfect, but the film wasn't loaded right and it's bad. Or you didn't hit the focus was soft. And you can't tell it with a film camera the way you can with a digital camera,
or
right?
There's a hair.
There's a hair in the gate. Whatever it is. It's so it's even if it's the most perfect take, you have to do another one because that might not be good once you develop it. So it is
God,
this idea of just a single take on film is wild.
I remember when I was on the set of The Dark Knight Rises. I was in The Dark Knight Rises, by the way.
Oh, I don't think you talk about that.
I brought it up. I bring it up here and there.
Okay.
I remember they loaded in the IMAX film and it was fed in wrong, and it ripped, and like the sound echoed throughout the stadium of the film just being shredded. And I think they said that was like $15,000 just down the drain of IMAX film, just done. And I remember seeing like Christopher Nolan just being like, because everyone heard it, and they're like, all right. Because I think like a week before, I wasn't there for it, but I saw like the behind the scenes footage. There's no shot of Catwoman leaving that place at the end on the bat cycle because they shot it, and if you look at the behind the scenes footage, the stunt woman just ran into the camera and knocked the lens off. Oh no! So I'm thinking like, and I knew Art Things was right after that. I'm like, wow, they're having a lot of problems on this. Anyway, do a second take. So the makeup guy is the first one to kind of find the track marks on Bela, and he covers them up. Then the one dude makes the mistake of saying that Bela was Karloff's sidekick.
Fuck you!
And what a great line I wrote down. Karloff doesn't deserve to smell my shit. Then he goes off more, but I couldn't write that
I
fast.
love the Karloff side. Fuck you! Howard Stern used to play that soundbite all the time.
Oh, good.
So you might be wondering, did they hate each other?
Did they, Tony?
No. Everything I've read, like between his son and stuff, it's like, yeah, there might be like a rivalry because they would go after the same roles. Yeah. They weren't like friends. They didn't like hang out socially, but they worked together a couple times, and they were
in movies together.
Yeah, they did a bunch of stuff together, but like it wasn't like they didn't hate each other.
It wasn't a Betty Davis, Joan Crawford situation.
No, and people, I think because of this movie,
yeah,
people like to imagine that there was this big rivalry, and it's like not really.
I'm sure also that like helped sell movies too at the time. Like if there was like a, you know, like how they did that in Hollywood where they'd like pretend people were more,
probably.
Like, ooh.
I mean, obviously Karloff got better roles. He didn't have the accents.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, everything I read, they got along. They just weren't friends, but they got along.
Yeah.
Dolores is like criticizing Ed. And like, he's like, how could you do, because he's wearing like the sweater and stuff. How could you do that? And he's like, you're the only one who has a problem. And she's like, this isn't the real world. You're surrounding yourself with weirdos. That's kind of how I feel with me and a lot of my podcast friends, where I'm like, wow, I'm not an asshole. My friends do this too. And I'm like, oh yeah, my friends are assholes.
Like, oh no.
They're like, Tony, like, you're kind of a dick. I'm like, my friend Riley doesn't think that. They're like, oh, the guy who's someone's trying to throw in jail for stalking and harassing. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't think I'm a dick. Innocent. Well, at the Free Riley.fund, he is. In real life, he's innocent.
Okay.
He made fun of.
I have no comment on this.
He was really funny at making fun of a guy, and a guy wants to put him in jail for it.
Classic.
So that's how I feel sometimes, where I'm like, what's so weird about me? And I'm like, oh, I do hang out with a lot of. You're one of my normie friends, by the way.
I don't know. Is that a compliment? Is that an insult?
No, that's a compliment.
See how this.
See, your episodes don't have to be heavily edited because you can't stop saying certain words. So you're one of my normie friends. You're not a Manny Muskets, okay? So yeah, I really related to that line. She's like, you're surrounding yourself with weirdos.
You need a new like control, you know, like a reset, like to.
And I'm like, oh shit.
Compare it to.
Like, oh shit, I've done that with my life. I've surrounded myself. Very relatable.
She's no. Huh? It's great. It's like these are all just great. I mean, she is kind of a dick in this movie, but she's great at just being like that person who's like, none of this makes sense. Yeah. But she's still in it. She's still.
Yeah, again, she's still trying. And I think she said that like she only read her parts in the script and she didn't really know that Ed was wearing women's clothes until like later.
Sarah Jessica Parker?
No, the real life Dolores.
Oh, the real life. Okay, that makes sense. Apparently she like became a songwriter and like wrote.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, trust me, because the part where they make her look so bad, I'm like, no, I don't blame her for a second. Then they shoot the famous scene of her giving the sweater.
And it's great. They do a great job because it's like shot for shot from what's in the movie and. They have these huge armchairs. Yeah. And she sits like this, arm on arm, and she does like, he's talking to her. And then goes back. like the weirdest direct, like, did she make that choice? Did Ed tell her to do that? It's just, know. But it is, They do it in this movie, and it is shot for shot for what she does in the real movie, and it's great.
And that's that. And people forget that the end of Glenn or Glenda, he learns to not wear women's clothes. That was like the happy ending of that movie. Right. It's like he found a girlfriend who he loves, and now he doesn't need to wear women's clothes. I'm like, oh, yeah. People forget that. I think that was him being like, I can only
Again,
get away
it's the
with so
50s.
much.
They can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to tell people they shouldn't hate people like this, but it's still wrong, so don't do
Just
that.
don't also hate,
And I'm not like those other weirdos. Like, again, Ed, you're being grouped in with all of that. It's the 50s, okay? He's running high off the success of his film.
Well, it hasn't even aired yet.
It hasn't. And he already goes to Warner Brothers to pitch his next film.
He's like, you are going to be the first to see this.
Yes.
With like the reels. Like he's got like the film.
He's like, some people bring their resume. I bring my films. But then he suggests a couple films to them. Mm-hmm. The Vampire's Tomb, which I believe is what he was filming. The footage of Bela in Plan 9 from Outer Space was being filmed for that movie.
Okay.
Which I don't think got made. The Ghoul Goes West. I don't know if that one got made. Dr. Acula. I don't know if Ed Wood ever made this movie, but I'm pretty sure there's like 5 Dr. Aculas.
Oh, there is. It was in Scrubs.
Yeah, it's another Scrubs thing. Again, what we said about not changing with the times.
Yes.
It's like, Ed, you can still do, if you're successful doing these movies, but like if you're trying to make a name for yourself, you can't be, this trend is kind of gone. It might come back.
Yeah.
Might come back. Trends come and go. But it's like, dude, you're not really, they're not looking for these types of movies anymore. Right. Maybe Westerns still, but at that time.
Yeah, I guess, maybe that's the Ghoul Going West would be the a mix of like the old plus the Westerns. Spaghetti Westerns were coming in so great in the 50s.
Yeah, so then he suggests Bride of the Atom. Yes. Because it's sci-fi, and he is selling for all of them. It's like Bela Lugosi's in it. It's like, I don't care. It's like, well, Bella's in it, but it's a small part.
Yes, I love his pitches through the whole movie are this combination of he starts with the story he wants, and someone gives a criticizes it,
and he switches on the dime. Yeah. So the producer likes the Bride of the Atom idea.
Yes.
Yes, he's like, all right, I'm into it. And the producer makes the mistake of watching the movie, Glenn or Glenda. And him and the people are like, is this a joke? And they think it's a prank. And they're like, oh. So they blame someone for it. Like, so-and-so must have done this like a joke. So they kind of write it off. Ed gets bad news that his movie is not premiering anywhere in Los Angeles because it only premiered in 3 places, and Georgie lets him know, no one wants to see this piece of shit, and if I ever see you again, I'll kill you.
Yeah. It is so, it starts off with, I sold this in Tulsa, and it ends with, I only sold it in Tulsa.
Yeah.
I told you.
But yeah, again, Ed just not being able to, reflect or any kind of self-critic. He's just been told that the guy wants to kill him and hangs up. And then he's like, Georgie? Hello?
Yeah, it's he's like, I spent all my money.
Yeah.
He's going on, he's like, I'm bankrupt. I spent all my money on this piece of shit.
Yeah. It's like, Ed, no, he hung up. It's like, stop it. It's done. You fucked up. You made a really bad movie and you really screwed that guy over. Not that I don't know if the movie they wanted to make was going to be good anyway, but...
Right, but I guess it just didn't make the money that they... He was giving me, vibes of, what I imagine Hallmark movie producers would be,
I know a director who makes a lot of those Christmas movies.
I bet they make money.
He was on the show a long time ago, Fred Olin Ray. Yeah. He made, horror films, and then, 90s erotic stuff, and then softcore porn. I mean, I got him to sign my copy of Bikini Airways. It was a very important film in teenage Tony's life. It taught me that women are great and business owners. Of course, it's a woman. She buys her own, or she inherits an airline. Oh. She has to make it successful. And now he makes Christmas movies for TV.
They all have, low budget. They have to turn a profit.
Yep.
Do it quick. I mean, it makes sense. It's great.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Yes.
So they're at a wrestling match.
Yes.
Yes, and Bunny mentions that he's going to Mexico to get a sex change.
Yeah.
In real life, he wanted to go to Denmark, but there was a judge who stopped it from happening, and the reason was he he hadn't paid his mother's like
money?
medical. There was like a weird thing.
I didn't
Yeah, I was looking it up, and yeah. So yeah, he apparently there was like a financial reason that was prohibiting him from doing it. So he's like, I'll just go to Mexico and do it.
Yeah.
And I'll marry my secretary.
Yes, that was like that. I was looking this up. I was like, how much of this is a bunny story is real? And that
was true.
That was part of it.
So yeah, he's telling all the story, and you can see like Dolores being like, "Oh God, what have I got myself?"
Well, she
into?
even says like, "You have to talk so loud," or what? She like shushes him because she's worried about other people hearing at the wrestling match.
Yeah. But this is where they meet Tor Johnson, who was a wrestler turned actor, played by George the Animal Steel, who was a wrestler turned actor. I got to see him at a convention years ago.
Ooh.
That was probably the best casting in the film. When you look at like who the real people are, and like George the Animal Steel is Tor Johnson, you're like, nailed it. Johnny Depp, a little too good looking for Ed Wood. They mentioned in the documentary that Ed Wood was like good looking for his day, but like Tor Johnson and George the Steel, they're like twins basically.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I love that, like, so they did a thing where like they wanted to introduce. I remember the writers listening to the commentary years ago, like they wanted to introduce like every character kind of like associated with their profession as much as they could. Mm-hmm. So you see like Bela Lugosi's introduced being in a coffin.
Yeah.
Tor is introduced wrestling.
Yes. Oh yeah, they got
yeah. Criswell is introduced, well, besides the beginning, doing his predictions.
He does his thing, the chiropractor at the end comes and chiropracts.
So yeah, he's taken away by Tor Johnson. He's like, oh my God, he's perfect. And I love that he like suggests him to be in a film. And he's like, I work in the movies. And his like frame of reference for movies is like the Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Like the Mickey Mouse.
He's so good. No, it is just like a perfect casting.
So yeah, Ed gets a call from Bela. Mm-hmm. And he goes over and he's just all strung out.
Yeah.
And he admits to being an addict basically. Mm-hmm. And it's a very sad scene. All these scenes of Bela are like really kind of sad because like you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're like, oh, any day now. Then Ed finds out that Warner's hated his movie and his pitch. And I like the whole like, worst movie you ever saw, huh? Well, my next one will be better.
Yeah.
And again, I used to be naive like that when people told me my thing sucked. I'm like, well, I'll do better. And then I'm like, I should probably figure out why it sucked and probably not make those mistakes again. And this is another time where he gets hung up on. He's like, hello? Hello.
And he's got the smile that he does in this whole movie. It's great of this, like, it makes it feel like that, like, naive.
He's delusional. He's like trying to even like trick himself. It's like, no, buddy, you lost. So Bela gets to go on a TV show. I couldn't find any footage of this.
Real?
Apparently this was like a real thing. Maybe not exactly like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's trying to memorize the script. It's live TV, but then the actor just starts improving.
Yes. And he can't keep up. And
yeah, I don't know why the actor thought that was gonna happen. Like, what was he gonna expect? It's like, yeah, no, he's an elderly man who's never improv before.
Because he came from, like that's not what you did in movies. Like,
yeah. So yeah, they throw him off and they just have like a chorus line going there. But yeah, that was also the introduction.
Like sad.
They also have the introduction to Criswell, where he predicts that we'll all be on Mars by the 70s, I think.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
He makes more predictions. He knows that Ed made Glenn or Glenda.
Yes.
I don't know how they met in real life. I forget if that was mentioned in the documentary.
I missed that. No, I didn't look that up.
I'm sure it wasn't like this. So yeah, that night they're at a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant. You could tell because everyone's dressed like that. They're all like dancing.
Yes.
So yeah, they order drinks for everyone, but Bela doesn't drink wine. Get it? That's Dracula.
And everyone dies at this table.
You can tell he's done it a million times.
He's just like, yeah. And they're like,
I never drink wine.
They set him up for it. They're so excited. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I know actors always talk about how annoying it is, but I just feel like, dude, just give it to that person.
Just say the line.
Just say the line.
Say the line, Bart. I didn't do it. I get if like people are telling you to do it like 5 times,
I'm
like
sure
500
it is
times
so
in one
frustrating,
day.
but at the end of the day, it's like, come on, but that's like.
Yeah. Do I have any catchphrases? I don't know if I do. You can get me to say
Tell
anything
me.
you want if you see me in public. Just say what. Say
Or
Tony's.
on Cameo?
Oh, what am I talking about? Thank you. Don't you dare ask me to say anything unless it's through Cameo.
Paid through Cameo.
Thank you for the save on that one. I almost made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, nuh-uh. That's what
Or
we
a
got.
super chat in a live episode.
Ooh.
So yeah, Criswell's like, no, I'm not a real psychic. I'm an asshole.
And it's like, Ed truly was, which is
Yeah.
so funny. I get it all plays in this naivete that he's playing for this character,
He's
right?
like,
Of like, oh, because you know, like he
Yeah.
told him, like, oh, you're gonna be so successful, and it's
Yeah.
like he believed him.
But Ed's good at learning bad things to do.
Yes.
So he's like, yeah, people think because I dress like this and I talk snappy that I know this. And he's like, huh. So Ed's learning how to con people.
Right.
Cut to the backers ball.
Oh my God, yes.
Where, again, he's doing what you said, where he
Yes.
pitches the story and someone says they don't like horror, they like love
They
stories.
like love stories.
So he switches it to a romance story. So yeah, they're talking to all these backers. They seem interested. And at the end, they find out that they didn't make a nickel.
Yeah.
I love that. They're all driving away. They didn't make a nickel.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
So then Ed hears a woman who's new to Hollywood, Loretta, played by Juliette Landau.
I was gonna say it's his daughter.
Yes, and what is she known for, Angela?
She was Drusilla in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, the bad one. Gotcha.
Excuse me. She's so wonderful. It's very weird to see her like chipper. She plays such like a
Yeah, she's
character on Buffy where it's like she's supposed to be insane and she's like super like always kind of in this dreamy state.
And here she's all like happy and
she's like,
cheery.
hi, I'm excited for Hollywood.
So yeah, played by Martin Landau's daughter.
Yep.
Ed hears her. He mistakenly thinks that she will give him money.
Well, she first says, I only have a 50, right?
Yeah.
To pay for this one drink she has.
Yes.
And he's like, ding
He's
ding.
like-
Because again, in the 50s, that's like, I don't know, a couple $100 at
That
least,
is.
right? That's a good
And
amount.
also,
of money.
he is like a predatory con man. So
Yeah.
if he knows someone has money, he will try to like weasel in there, which is something con men do.
Yes.
Like, oh, I heard you have money. Hey, I got this idea for this thing.
Right? And then she's like new to Hollywood. She's
yeah.
like, this is classic. You
Yeah.
know what? You're like, classic moment.
Okay, so the real Loretta in the documentary, she's like, he never asked me for money once. Like the whole like they thought she was gonna fund everything. That's like kind of made up, or it was like a rumor. And apparently, her being allergic to liquids.
Oh yeah, what was that line?
Is also apparently that is like a thing that could happen, but. She's like, yeah, I don't know where that rumor came from, but it made it into the movie somehow.
Did, and that's just like such a great, and that
Yeah.
her response is like how she is as Drusilla, which
Yes.
I guess was why I like that little moment. Is like she looks at him and so serious. No water, like
I'm very allergic. But yeah, so he's under the impression that she will give him $60,000 eventually to make this movie.
right, and it's like that great moment
Mm-hmm.
again of they're kind of discussing.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh, I only need 60,000. And she's like, well, that's not a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be a backer. And they never have the...
She never agrees to do all
She never says, I
60,000.
will pay for the whole thing. He never says, will you pay for the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? And so there's that classic
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
Like sitcom sort of
Yes.
misunderstanding. But according to her, that's not what happened. However, Dolores was, true to the movie, very upset that Ed gave the part to her. Was not happy about it. And according to Loretta, she apparently got like a phone call from Dolores.
Really?
Being like, you stole this from me. And then she had to be like, no, actually, like, my agent kind of got it for me. And apparently after that, like, Dolores was like, oh, sorry. But it was one of those, like, Dolores was actually pissed that she didn't get the part. I don't know if she assaulted Ed with a frying pan, like in the movie.
It is so good. I just love her saying what, like, he's like, oh, but there's other great parts of the movie. And her with the frying pan on her hip. Like what? Right? It's just so wonderful to smash cut to him walking around just with like the the ice pack on his head on set is just like, it's so good.
It's pretty good. I love this part where you find out Ed's director of photography is colorblind.
He's colorblind. Which I guess would be like less of a problem when you're shooting all in black and white, but still you would think it would be like a hindrance.
I love that line where they're like, which outfit do you like more? He's like, I don't know. I like the dark gray.
The dark gray one.
They decide to shoot a bunch of scenes on the same set, which is a good time-saving thing to do.
Yeah.
I've done that. You should probably do more than one take. But see, it's fine for the first time.
Yeah.
Bella walks through the door.
Yes.
They try it with Tor, and he hits that door a little too hard. It's like shakes the whole set.
I just love that, like, he is directing while they're filming, and he's like, "You're so upset." Well, you're not that upset.
Not that upset. Oh, okay.
Like correcting them mid-take instead of just cutting and doing a new
Talking
take.
about it beforehand and running through it. Like, that's why you got to run through some.
Apparently they didn't do rehearsals, right? Is what I read. Typically.
No. And that's something I learned early on where it's like, oh, I should probably rehearse these before we start filming.
Yeah, right. That's the thing that
Depending on what the scene is. If it's someone looking out a window, I'm like, I don't have to rehearse too much for that. But yeah, there were a couple things on like that Halloween shoot that we had to like the whole camera moving through the house.
Oh, whenever there's blocking, you've got to try that out ahead of time. I also love that like Bella is like bragging that like, oh, in other movies we only do 1 or 2 scenes a day, and Eddie can get done 20 or 30 scenes in a day, and it's just like the math's not mathing here. Like it's so.
I know it's stupid for me to say, but like. They always say quality over quantity. I'm more of a little bit of both. But this is a case where quantity is not as good as quality. It's like, you don't want like 100 million bad scenes.
Right.
I always struggle to use the quality over quantity thing because I know some people who have used it, and I'm like, it's just an excuse for laziness. I've known a lot of talented people that aren't making enough things, and I'm not going to name Vito Gesualdi. I will not name Vito Gesualdi as one of these talented people who drags his feet and struggles to get things out, even though he made thousands of dollars funding it like his comic book. I'm not going to name Vito Gesualdi. But yeah, there are people that are like, good things take time. And it's like, yeah, but I see you fighting on Twitter all the time when you could be working on your thing. So I don't know how much of this is true. And again, I'm not going to bring up Vito Gesualdi. Mm-hmm. So speaking of the door scene.
Yes.
Again, if he would be like, we don't have time, maybe we'll trim it. He tries to justify his incompetence.
No, it's fine. It's real. In actuality, Lobo would have to struggle with that problem every day.
It's real. And that is something that I have to politely explain to some of my clients, honestly. It's like I say, you should come with a script. And they say, that's not real. I'll be too rehearsed. And you have to like explain that actually what you think looks real on camera is not someone just like bullshitting their way through it. It's
not even the script that got like these. I'm not reading these verbatim.
Right, just note something.
You need like guidelines and like beats that you want to hit. It doesn't need to be fully scripted.
Right, but you need like there is this idea still of like if I am prepared at all, I'm not being real. I think there's like that like because of like TikTok and like all this, you know what I mean? Like social media makes you feel like, but those really successful people are prepared though.
Yeah.
It is still planned out ahead of time.
Yeah. That's why I have all these notes and guidelines to have, so the episodes have like a flow.
Tony sends me a 40-page document before he even attempts to let me onto the show. He says, you need to read this.
I actually used to print out my notes so people can follow where I was going.
Sign. Oh, no, I have no idea where you're going now, but.
No. I realistically. Yeah, he's giving you an NDA or whatever.
Yeah.
Before I used to print out my notes so people knew what I was doing next. But then I kept writing jokes for me to make. And I decided I didn't want them to know the jokes I was making. Oh,
you wanted like a
genuine
reaction.
I learned, I'm like, wait a minute. They're going to know my joke and I'm going to be an asshole. Johanna's eyes won't roll if she sees the joke ahead of time.
She knows too much. Yes.
So yeah, they're filming the scene where Bela is beating Tor.
Yes.
This is for Bride of the Atom. Bride of the Monster, what it would eventually be called. Then the guy comes in asking for the money. And he's like, okay, well, let's stop it. And Ed goes to Loretta and asks her for money. She's like, I think there was a misunderstanding. I gave you everything I had. And he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So they get kicked out and they do another backers party. And I love this sign. Originally it said this year's big hit. And it's like next
year's big hit. Yeah.
Bella just being like, here we go again.
The drink.
This is where Vampira is introduced.
Where she gets introduced.
You're going to want to watch that documentary. Vampire is hilarious.
Is she wonderful?
She did not care for Ed Wood. They didn't meet like this. But she's just like, yeah, no, he made like bullshit. I didn't care.
Yeah.
This is a pathetic buffoon. You know, he's a man who doesn't even know his own shortcomings. Kind of sad. Pretty, but ineffectual and tragic.
He's like, he kept trying to get me in his movies. I'm like, I don't want to be in your movies, man. But she's like an early horror host.
Yes.
Not one of the best ones, but I guess like an early enough one. Like she just kind of made jokes in between stuff. She wasn't like Elvira or Zachary.
Apparently she sued Elvira.
She did.
Unsuccessfully.
Although when she tells the backstory of how her outfit was there, she was trying to do like a Charles Addams thing, like a Morticia thing.
Oh, really?
But then like it didn't have. She explains how she had like a Morticia getup, and then she reworked it to be this character.
Interesting.
So it's her character is kind of derivative too.
So it's like a copy of a copy.
Yeah. We talked about this in the Man Thing episode.
Ooh.
Not a good movie.
But the episode.
The episode is great. It's a mint-salad episode. They're my favorite. But we talked about how like the DC has Swamp Thing and Marvel has Man Thing. And like, how have they not sued each other? And I had to look it up and like, they're both derivative of a different character. So like, if they sued each other, that other one could be like, well, wait a minute. So that's why they've never like gone after each other.
Just like an understanding.
Yeah, it's one of those like, yeah, you don't want to get that guy involved because then you're both.
Yep.
Anyway, so they see Vampire at the party and they think that she's involved with it. So he's like trying to beg to
get her in the movie. And she's like not having it.
She's like, no, I'm busy. I'm eating with friends. Leave me alone. So yeah, he embarrasses himself and the backers leave. And then he ends up pitching to a butcher.
Yeah.
Who's played by, I think that's Ron Howard's dad.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. Yeah, so he's just getting money from anywhere. He's like, oh, it's this movie. I like that. You got to compromise sometimes with the person who's putting up the money. You have to do certain things. And he's like, okay, the movie ends with a big explosion.
He's like so Texas.
I know. And I love Ed's just like, but it ends with this. And he goes, not anymore. And then he tells him, he's like, you got to put my son in it. He's a little slow.
But it's like, this is like the stuff though that I feel like, again, as, you know, in my student film, I had moments like that though, like where I had someone who's like, hey, I'll come in and I'll give you, like, I'll help you produce your, like another student who was like, yeah, I'll come in and I'll help you, but I need to rewrite your script for you. And I was like, what? Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this. It was someone in the producing class. Oh. And he was like, I'll even give you $1,000, which again is so much money for a student.
Yes.
And he was like, and I'll be the producer, but I'm rewriting the script. I want to write the script. And it was like a weird choice.
That was a weird dynamic.
Right? And I was like, no. Like, why wouldn't you want to, not to pull an Ed Wood, but like, why would you want to work with me if you didn't like the script, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, that is such a thing of like, yeah, I'll give you money if you
make these changes.
If you put my son in it, or if you do this thing for someone I know.
Yeah. I mean, that happened. People would put their kids and things and put the money up for it. I mean, it makes sense. Sometimes it works, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you get Godfather 3 with Sofia Coppola, you know? It's just, you know.
It was,
nepotism. I'm not against.
Yes.
People hate like nepotism when it comes to acting, and I'm just like, yeah, no. But if a kid's like has parents who are actors, they're able to study it earlier, and they probably can be good actors.
Yeah, it's like that weird combination. Right?
It's like I know nepotism is kind of shitty, but it can benefit people. Like I understand why it works. It's like, well, they've been training It's not like they were just. It's bad when they're just handed and they're unprepared.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
like they theoretically have the genes and then have also been trained and grew up knowing the industry. So again, it is like there's obviously times where,
and that goes with any industry. Like if you grew up like your dad owns a business, it's like, yeah, well, I've been watching him do this since I was a kid. Like it makes sense. It can be annoying though if they're super underqualified, but I don't think nepotism is like the worst thing in the world.
Nephew, where you're like, you weren't like growing up with your uncle, like learning how to do business deals. Like,
So he gets the funding.
Yes.
And I like that even they're shocked. They're like, I can't believe he got the money for this. Dolores shows up for her scene and she's rude to everyone.
Yep.
She was not happy. She's very rude to Loretta. She didn't like her. No.
The scene is so good because I can't tell. I think also is like, is she purposefully trying to like chew up the scene, or is she like? I mean, also that's kind of how she was acting in the other.
That is how she was acting in the movie. Yeah, that is spot on how they did it. But it's funny that they show that scene before, so it comes off way more like antagonistic. They're like, Whereas before, if you just watch Bride of the Atom, you have no idea.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I love the like. I couldn't hear you. Oh, I know what you said, but I still couldn't hear you. And she's like, oh, I get it, and walks away.
And then for some reason, Criswell decides to join Ed and Tor on their the octopus stealing mission. I feel like the writers just wanted these characters around for like a bunch of scenes, but like in real life, they probably weren't doing this all together. They go to steal a squid prop from the studio lot. And the reason Tor is there is to break the lock.
Yes, break out the lock. Oh my gosh. And they like have to climb up into like the rafters to get this.
And then like the squid crushes Tor. Oh, he's like, better than wrestling. They're ready to shoot the squid. They forgot the motor. They're like, where's the motor? He's like you didn't say anything about a motor. Bella's complaining that he's too tired to shoot. They're like, we'll film around you. And then he just starts shooting up. And I like that they're showing it through the reflection on the windshield. I thought that was clever. So yeah, he's suddenly energized again. And then he gets in the water and he's just like, all right, how does it move? And they're like, just
grab it.
You got to grab the legs and just wiggle around. But before this, he's having a crisis about turning down Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Again, he would eventually be in 3 Frankenstein movies.
Right.
As Igor. Igor's not the Hunchback.
Oh.
The Hunchback in the first one is Fritz. Igor is Bela Lugosi. He was hung and he survived and his neck is broken. So people falsely remember him as the Hunchback.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the monster. In the end of Ghost of Frankenstein, he like puts his brain in the monster, but then the monster goes blind because I guess his brain doesn't match or whatever. And then Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. That's where Bela Lugosi is in the makeup as the Frankenstein monster, and they cut out all of his lines of dialogue. Because they're like, no one's going to remember that last movie. So they cut out all the speaking parts, and people always do this.
Yeah.
And that comes from that movie because they were following the continuity where he's blind. Oh. But the movie never mentions the previous one and cuts out all the dialogue. So now
he's just...
That's why Frankenstein's monster does that. That's why it becomes so popular. Because there are shots, if you see, like, from far away, like, he's talking, and they're like, nah, cut it out. Who gives a shit about continuity? No one even remembers.
See, I only have seen the first one.
Yeah. You should see Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. That's the better one. I mean, they all have a charm to them.
Oh, yeah.
Son of Frankenstein has, like, one of the first meta jokes I can think of.
Really?
Yes. Like a self-aware meta joke, where it's his son. They're like, yes, everyone associates my father's name with this monster. And then he goes... by the way, did you know that some people even call that monster, then there's a guy off screen going, Frankenstein. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a really clever joke. Whoa. Like even the third movie, they were making fun of how everyone kept confusing the name.
Oh, I love it.
And that was Basil Rathbone. Anyway, so yeah, he's upset that he turned down the first Frankenstein. Which I don't know if he turned it down. I got to look it up. He probably just didn't get the part.
I don't know. I don't know, because I remember this scene, and so I can't tell you if I've heard it before, but it could have just been from this movie.
Yeah. He was like, it was beneath me.
Yeah.
And I like that Ed just like, Bella, I got 25 other scenes to film tonight.
Yeah.
Which I've been in that if you have an actor in a bad mood. It's like, okay, we got a lot to do, so.
He's like, oh, we gotta keep going. It's okay, but like, let's hurry up this crisis.
I had a mummy cop. I had a girlfriend walk off the set mad at me, and I'm like, take care of that later. We got to film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like, we've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. I'm like, that's an issue for another time. Everyone's here. We got a job to do.
Yep.
So, yeah, the next day, Ed and Bella have a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I really appreciate everything you've done for me. And he's like, I wrote a scene for your character, a big speech for the end. Mm-hmm. And the speech kind of mimics where Bella is in his life. He's like, everyone turned on me, and I'm here now, and I'm going to make a race of atomic supermen. Home, I have no home. And it's a really nice scene. And then they have a big rap party.
Yes.
And everyone's hanging out. There's some dude playing a piano or whatever that instrument is. Bunny shows up again.
I've been waiting to talk about this scene with Bunny.
This was, okay, part of it is real.
Yes.
He did get into a really bad vehicle accident in Mexico. And I think his partner died.
I couldn't find if his partner died or not in that.
Okay. He did this.
But this did have.
Yeah, this made him give up on the whole sex change thing. He's like,
right.
You know what, I'm good. He's just like, I'm done. It's not worth it. But yeah, he was in an accident in Mexico. I don't think a mariachi band saved him, as he implies in this.
Yeah, he's just like hanging out with his. He's like,
if it wasn't for these men, I wouldn't have.
Like they're just like playing in the background. But I love the order, right, that he gives, because you would say, like, this was terrible because first something little happened, then something bigger, right? You usually build to the worst thing, and he starts off with, car accident, my fiance died. Then.
They lost my luggage. The doctor turned out to be a quack.
Like, as if, like.
I would have opened with one of the lower ones and then build up to that one.
Yeah, that we're not like, I don't know. He just was perturbed by the whole thing.
And I love that he's telling, of all people, it's Tor Johnson who he's talking to. I thought you were going to be a lady. He's like spilling his heart out to Tor Johnson.
Right?
So yeah, Ed dances in drag.
Yeah, comes out as like a belly dancer. Now that like reminded me of super early Simpsons belly dancer scene. Like what was first or second season.
Oh yeah.
I forget what her name is, but like Lady Jasmine or whatever they call her.
I gotta watch that episode again.
Because he comes with the little like thing over his mouth and he's
which I think Will Smith saw this and tried to do it in Wild Wild West a few years later. Didn't do it as well as Johnny Depp. But yeah, he's a I want to say you can't do that in the movie these days, but Deadpool 2 did it. Deadpool wears a wig and he's at a strip club.
Oh, yeah?
And then he kills a bunch of people wearing high heels. It's awesome. That second one's the best one. I mean, spoiler for that episode I put out. Is it the best one? Go back and watch.
We don't know.
He's dancing and then Dolores just unloads.
You're wasting your life making shit. Nobody cares. These movies are terrible.
Just shitting on everyone, and then she ends up breaking up with him. So the movie makes it seem like she's unsupportive and she doesn't respect them and anything. That wasn't the case. Like, yeah, she didn't really agree with the cross-dressing lifestyle.
Right.
Fine. But she was still supportive of him. What really happened, she had like a small, she had like a job, like a temporary job where she had to go to like New York. And like she was working, I forget what it was. She was working on something and she like really loved it and knew that there were more opportunities there. So she kind of stuck it through, like she says in this, until the movie was done.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm out. I'm out. And also he was a drunk in real life.
Right.
So it's like, what would you rather do? Further your career and stuff or make garbage with a guy who's kind of falling apart?
Right.
So yeah, I kind of feel like it's a little for a movie, whatever, it's fine.
Yes.
But it's like when you think of real life, it's like, wow, they're really mean to her.
Yes, yeah, it's a little unfair portrayal of her.
So yeah, she leaves. She leaves. And in real life, as we learned at the end, she became like a really prominent songwriter. She wrote like Elvis songs.
Yeah, right?
What would you rather do in the 50s? Be in Bride of the Monster or write Elvis songs?
Yeah, she made out. Like she made the right choice.
Yes. Yeah, and it benefited her. She still had plenty of nice things to say in that documentary, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she was really nice. Ed then tries to get a date with Vampira.
Yes. And again.
She turns him down, yeah.
But again, I love, she's like, but aren't you sly? Which is such an old-timey way to ask if someone's gay.
Oh, no, she doesn't say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she says, aren't you sly? I thought you were sly. No?
What did you watch this on?
Amazon?
Well, I don't know. She's dropping the hard F-bomb in this.
That was not the version I watched.
Are there 2 versions of this?
Oh my God. I just rented it on Amazon because my sister stole the DVD and didn't give it back.
No, in at least in the DVD version, she's dropping that F-bomb pretty hard. I thought you were a blank.
No, that's what I swear. All right.
Is Amazon streaming a censored version?
Was I not paying attention? They don't even sound the same though.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Is this like a few years back they were criticizing Netflix they were streaming Back to the Future 2 and they were covering up the porn magazine, the Ooh La La.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was just a mistake. They were airing like the flight version.
Yes, yeah. The flight.
I don't know what happened there.
There was other they said fucks and shit and stuff in the version I watched. I don't know. Now I'm curious.
Now I gotta look up the changes. I'm gonna look up if anyone's been tampering with these movies.
Did I just edit it in my brain?
You're so progressive that you can't even register slurs. People say slurs and you translate them in your head.
That must have been what happened.
No, she straight up asked.
Oh man, that's all right.
I love he's like, no, I'm just a transvestite.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's all.
So yeah, she turns him down.
Yeah.
She's like, you seem nice, but no. And then he gets a call from Bella, who has a gun.
He is full blown
he's on the verge. He's on the verge of suicide. He can't pay his rent.
Yeah.
And he's just totally miserable. He wants to take Ed with him too.
Yeah. I love Ed's like, well, let me get you a drink to calm him down. What are you drinking?
It's like
formaldehyde.
It was on the rocks?
Yeah. Great. There are really good little back and forth in this movie.
Angela, if you ever decide to unalive yourself, don't try to take me with you. I got shit to do.
That would be the only way I would agree to that. Thelma and Louise style.
No. If I'm in Thelma and Louise, I'm opening the door and rolling out before it goes off the cliff. I wouldn't even be in the car. I'd be like, I'll meet you at the bottom of the cliff. Really? Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. Don't look back. It's fine.
So he convinces Ed. Ed convinces Bella to check into rehab.
Yes.
I do love that where she's like, you look like that Dracula guy. And then it cuts to him looking exactly like Dracula. And he has a tough time going through withdrawals.
Yeah, because they just would strap you down, right?
Yeah.
There was no
They're like, good
science
luck.
or medicine to this.
Oh, they were still learning. They're like, all right, we're not going to give you any drugs. I'll see you later. Then Ed meets Kathy.
Yes.
This movie is skipping over one of his wives.
Oh, he was married before Kathy?
Yeah, he got quickly married to a girl. It was a very quick marriage. She found out about the cross-dressing stuff. Not a fan. Not a fan. They were technically still married. And even though he ended up marrying Kathy, I think he was still married to her. They never officially divorced.
Yeah.
But again, she was another one in the documentary. She's like, no, I didn't hate him. I just didn't know that about him when I signed up for this.
Right.
Ed is bad at telling people things. He probably should tell them early on. And I get it. It's the 50s. It was harder to do it. But if you're thinking of marrying someone, you gotta bring it up.
Give them a heads up.
You gotta give him a heads up. Yeah, he was married to her briefly, and then that happened. And then he was a really bad alcoholic around that time.
Yeah.
So her mom wouldn't even let her talk to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he met Kathy, who maybe she kicked it eventually. I didn't look up too much of it, but toward the end where he was really bad, she was also bad.
Oh.
She lived, obviously. I think maybe she kicked it.
Yeah, she outlived him and then never got remarried, right?
I don't. Well, this says, I don't think she did. She ended up living a long life, but according to the documentary, they were both malnourished and just drinking a lot. So, she's there. Her dad is also in rehab. We never find out what for. So that's how they meet. Then the press reports on this rehab.
Yes. Now, is this true? That
Yes.
he was the first celebrity to go to rehab?
It might, if not the first, one of them, or like the most publicized.
Because at first when we were like, right when she says, you know, they walk in and she's like, oh, you look like the vampire guy, right? And it's a good bit. And I'm thinking like, oh, they just put this in as a bit. And then later they say, no, he's the first celebrity. Then I'm like, oh, that would make more sense. Because I feel like if you work at a rehab center in LA right now, you're not going to be like, oh, it's so funny that you kind of look like this really famous person who's known for doing lots of drugs. Right? You'd be like, oh, yeah. Come join. We've got your special like wing set up already. Right? So, but I was like, oh, that makes more sense now.
Yeah, I think it was one of the most. I think he might be the first that was like real publicized. But like, I got a problem with Ed here because he kicks them all out. He's like, Ed, why are you kicking them out? He's like, those people are just trying to exploit you, and it's like, Ed, you're doing that all the time.
Especially the way the movie ends, right? Like,
yes, he was like he's criticizing other people and he's not really reflecting on himself. It's like, which is something asshole con men losers do, where they're just like, I'm not the problem, they are. It's like, yeah, but you're kind of doing what you say you hate.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? So yeah, but I like that Bella is just like, yeah, go ahead, let them. It's like, this is the first time I'm getting press.
Bad press.
Yeah, there's no bad press. There is bad press, as we're learning. So yeah, that night, Ed and Kathy go to a carnival.
Yes.
And they get in the haunted house. And this is the most Tim Burton the movie looks.
Yeah.
Like the little thing that they're in. Like, okay, not a lot of stuff in this has looked very Tim Burton-y until this part. So yeah, it gets stuck. And they're just chatting, as you do in the haunted house, I guess. And he just lets her, probably, they skipped over that whole him not telling his wife.
Yes.
So he's like, I probably should tell people early. I don't think it's first date early.
Right.
You could probably do like 2 or 3 dates.
Right.
I think. I don't know. I really got to tell. I'm thinking of waiting until like 5 years before I tell girls I'm a podcaster. I'm thinking of doing that going forward.
That might be a good.
What do you do for a living? Nothing.
I just somehow have money. Don't ask.
Work at the business factory. How many times I have to tell you? Doing papers.
I am good at business. Doing business things.
So yeah, he tells her, I like to wear women's clothes. And then she does the whole like, he's like, do you like having sex with girls? Like, I love having sex with girls. Okay.
What like a great way to put it too.
Yeah, not even like, are you gay or
not? Are you gay? It's like, you don't like having sex with girls? And he's like, oh no, let me assure you.
Let me tell you, I do it often actually. So she's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, she's so chill about it.
Yeah, she's got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he's like, yay. I don't know what the lesson with this movie is. It's like, if you fail enough and are shitty to enough people, you'll find the girl of your dreams who accepts you. I'm like, I don't know if that's the lesson you want to give out. That's not how it really works in real life. No. The more she accepts you, the more problems she probably has. That is one of those things. We're like, wait, you like everything about me? I'm like, that's something fucked with you. You make bad decisions. So they kick Bella out of rehab.
Yes, because he has no money.
Which I don't know if the doctor should be telling Ed this. Because he's not covered by his insurance. But I like that Ed's like, the doctor said you're all better. I'm like, Ed, that's way worse than what the reporters did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
Right? Like, you don't, like, I don't know, don't you want to make sure, like, hey, you got a long way to go, but you've made some progress. So I don't know, there's just like a different way to.
Instead he goes, you're all better. And he's like, I don't feel better.
He's like, you're fine. Let's go home now.
But he had to keep taking advantage of him, as Bela Lugosi's son says. So yeah, Ed starts filming footage.
Yes.
Which would have been the tomb of Dracula, or whatever it was called. The vampire's tomb.
Yeah.
To have for later. And this is the footage that will be in Plan 9 from Outer Space. And he's just filming random shit.
Yeah, he's just like, just do stuff.
He's like, what if I smelled the roses? He's like, yeah, sure, do that. And then the cast and Vampira, somehow he gets Vampira to go to the premiere.
Yeah, he invites her to the premiere. She's fine.
He invites her to the premiere, a Bride of the Monster. And this is a rowdy premiere.
Oh my God, everyone's like upset.
It's just teens screaming, waiting for the movie to start. They don't care about the cast there. They're trying to fight them and grab their boobs and stuff.
Yeah. I am like so confused at the car. What happens with the car?
Oh, people took the tires off.
And like the seats?
Yeah,
like,
they stripped it for parts, yeah.
like, I don't know, there's something about, like, they didn't steal his car. They, like, went and, like, took the seats out and
They didn't have the keys. They just needed parts.
They just needed, like, they strip it for parts on the street in front of the theater. I just find it hilarious. I was just like, what is going on?
But apparently, like, 2 minutes into this movie, the whole audience decides they hate the film and they start chasing them out of the theater, booing them.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, it wasn't at the end after they watched the movie and they're upset. It was like they started this premiere angry.
Yeah. But yeah, what's her face jumps like in front of a taxi to get them all in there. And I like Bela Lugosi being like, that was some premiere.
Yeah. He's like having fun.
Yeah. But yeah, he tells Eddie to appreciate his new girlfriend.
Yeah, because she jumped in front of a car for him.
Yeah. And thanks him for the help that he's been giving him. And then he does his speech to like a local crowd. And they love it. And then the next day, he's dead. Then they have a funeral where he gets buried in his cape. And apparently that was his son and the son's mother's idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because before they were like, they said it was like in his will or something. So yeah, he actually did get buried in the cape. And this funeral, that son I just mentioned, is not attending this funeral. Apparently, it's just Ed Wood and his friends.
I know, right?
Who came to Bela Lugosi's funeral.
Well, like, they never talk about Bella's family at all in this.
Nah,
they make it
just
seem
left
like
them
he
all.
doesn't have
He mentions his wives. He says when he's talking about how it was good that she jumped in front of the car, he's like, none of my ex-wives would have. Oh, and he mentions early on that his most recent wife left him.
Yes.
He's like, my wife of 20 years left me. I'm not the best housekeeper. Which maybe was Bela Lugosi Jr.'s mother. I'm not sure.
But yeah, so he gets buried in his cape.
And then I like the part where he's just watching the film reel and he's having them play it over and over again. Ed gets questioned by his landlord about movies.
Right. Again, with being introduced by your profession.
But apparently this was true. The guy was his landlord.
Yes, I looked this up. I was like, surely this is what's made up in this
Although
movie.
he wasn't trying to make 12 Apostle films. He was trying to make something Sunday, Billy Sunday or something like that.
But he was a Baptist minister at a church.
Yes, and apparently he was like, Ed sells him on this idea. It's like, so you make a genre picture to raise the money and then you can fund your next film. He's like, and the golden ticket I have is Bela Lugosi's last footage. And apparently that guy was real hung up on the idea. He's like, I can have Bela Lugosi's last movie. And like his friends and whatnot at the church were trying to convince him, like, this is a bad idea. But he just wouldn't listen.
It's just also so wild, again, with this like juxtaposition of this grave robbing movie with like horror movie with Baptist church.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was like.
They're a little conflicted about it.
Yeah. But that was true. And then he has to do a little bit to convince the rest of the church to give him the money, though. Yeah.
And while he's doing that, he needs a stand-in for Bella.
Yes.
He's not impressed with the ones that Bunny brings. Or not Bunny, the other guy.
The other,
Marco or whatever. Yeah, he brings him like, actually the one guy on the left actually probably could have pulled it off. But he's like, he's too tall, he's too short. And then he looks at the Asian guy. It's like, it's not going to work. I love it. He goes, I thought maybe like with Fu Manchu. He's like, that was Karloff. So then they find out Vampira gets fired.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's what happened. She mentioned that she was like on her way up. She was about to make it. That's why she kept turning Ed down.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then whatever happened, something happened. She just couldn't get work. So they're like, all right, maybe we can get Vampira now. So she, in the movie, she's just like, I'll do it what if I just don't talk and I'm mute? The real reason, and the one Baptist guy said this in the documentary, like they all read the script and they're like, this is like a 7-year-old wrote this. This dialogue's awful. So she like read the dialogue. She's like, she's like, I don't want to say any of this. So that's
why.
And they were totally cool with it. They're like, we basically just bought you for your name. So whatever, as long as you're in the movie and we can say.
She's on she's on the poster. I looked it up. Like she's.
But that was it. She just looked and she's like, I'm not doing any of this shit. So that's why she agrees. And then they meet Dr. Tom. Oh, wait, I like this. Ed doesn't pass judgment. He goes, if I did, I wouldn't have any friends.
Yes.
Relate to that these days. Tony, why are you friends with such assholes? I'm like, I'm not in the position to be picky on who I can and can't be friends with. My comment section yells at me all the time for some friends I have. Not you. They're okay with you.
Oh, well, I guess that's good.
I mean, you haven't pissed them off yet.
Not yet.
No. But then Dr. Tom shows up, and Ed thinks he's perfect for the role of Bella.
She just walks up at her neck.
And he looks nothing like Bela Lugosi.
Nothing!
I do have later on, they're like, he has no hair. He's like, oh, I didn't notice that. And this actor, I forgot to write down his name. He's in a ton of things. Recently, I just talked about him. He plays one of the security guards briefly in Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny.
Ooh.
He was in the Fatigues episode of Seinfeld. And I know.
Yes, I was going to say, he was definitely in a Seinfeld episode.
Oh, and Angela, I'm pretty sure you're like, right. He's one of the shitty business guys in Carnosaur that's talking about the blueberry pie or whatever. Yes, Angela, I know your mind went right to Carnosaur.
Well, my mind always Carnosaur.
I'm glad I introduced you to that shit show.
You did. Tony tells me about this movie. I have to watch it. I then make my friends watch it, and now it's like...
Oh, you made other people watch that?
I did. I did not watch it alone.
I would have advised against that.
I made other people watch it with me.
Oh, sorry. I apologize to Angela's friends. Do they watch this show?
They should.
Don't show them the show. Do you want to keep them as friends?
I do.
Yeah, don't show them the show.
Okay.
Don't show them the Boys Month 2 promo. Because their issue with it is not that I put the apostrophe in the wrong place. Their issue is going to be the repeated phrase of bitches leave with X's over all your faces.
Oh, yeah, I saw that little promo.
Only one person let me know I put the apostrophe in boys in the wrong place.
I mean, I was really focused on...
the X over
X on my face was my insulted focus.
You know, I'm filming this early, but I have a feeling that Boys Month was my best month yet. I'm probably showing a graphic about how well it performed, and everything is in the green.
I forget when he says this line, but I think it's so funny. Is the so amused and like surprised that Ed has found out this new fun fact. He's like, when you rewrite a script, it just gets better and better. Which like is such a wonderful line to like imply that this is the first time he ever had a second draft.
You gotta rewrite your script and go through it, have people look at it. You can't just, I mean, there are times where you could shit out a script if it's like a short sketch and it's timely, like the Jurassic Park thing that we did. I mean, I kind of just made, again, I just made guidelines.
You're like, we'll go. But it's so good. I feel like, I remember watching this as a kid and like learning, like everything that like Ed thought was like what I thought as a kid. I was like, what do you mean you take more than one take when you make a movie? What do you mean you rewrite the script? Because I'm 7 years old thinking like, you
have
just walk
to
in front of a
rewrite your stuff. You need to like reread it and be like, does this make sense? Does this happen? You got to send it to people like, does this make sense?
It's just like his cheap, like his chipper, you know.
He's learning some lessons.
Yes.
They all get baptized to get the movie made. Which was a real thing that they did.
They actually did that. They all go get baptized.
Yeah, they had to do it at a pool because Tor Johnson was too big for the church like thing that they used. So they had to find one of the members that had a swimming pool.
The great like little chlorine.
But yeah, they're all baptized. I don't think they all got baptized in real life, but yeah. So they're all Baptist now.
Yeah.
And then the producers request some changes to Ed.
Like
and
they
he
do.
Refuses. Like the whole point of the movie is arguing for your vision. But at the same time, you do have to make some compromises. And the producers are saying things that are right. They're like, I thought this was a group effort.
Right. And that's the thing too. It's you see a movie that when a director, you know, their early stuff is good because there's someone there telling them you can't do this, you know, and then they get big enough that no one tells them no anymore. And
yes, I've seen the Star Wars prequels.
That's what you get.
Yeah, I've seen them.
That's what happens. You do need someone to tell you no. And
it is a collaborative thing. Like a director is important, but like think about Ridley Scott. Alien's great.
Yeah.
Prometheus and Alien Covenant are garbage. And it's like, how did he not recreate it? It's like, different team. That like the script didn't work the same way as that other one.
Film is one of the most collaborative types of art there is versus
There's plenty of movies that are well written. They can even be well shot, but maybe they have bad special effects. It's like,
right?
It's one of those things where like one part could like ruin
Just
it.
ruins everything. Even like continuity. People will call out like, oh, haha, continuity's wrong. But it's like, okay, but like, what if that was the best acting that person did? And it was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, oh, you're going to take this one tiny moment of like a cup in the background.
And the continuity doesn't bother me. Like Jurassic Park has so many continuity errors. Like blatant ones. But you don't notice it because you're invested in the story.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It depends. Like Halloween has a million continuity errors, but again, you're invested in the story. You can overlook it as long as it doesn't like a cup disappearing in the background doesn't ruin the story.
No, exactly. It's just like a continuity in the shot versus the story. But yeah, it's just there's so many different moving parts.
Yeah,
in a movie.
And that's something like Ed has to learn, and he's like struggling to learn at this point in the film. I had people criticize me on my sets. Like the girl I used to produce with, Kate. Yeah. Bless her. She would always tell me what I was doing wrong, what could be done better. Same thing with Sandra. They always let me know what I could be doing better. I'm like, all right. But sometimes you have to fail to learn the lesson the hard way.
That is true. I also love in this like argument with the producers, he says filmmaking is not about the tiny details. It's about the big picture.
Again, it's a little bit of both, buddy. It's a little bit of both. But you know what Ed Wood was a trailblazer with?
What?
Using a dead actor for a film after they've been dead. Still to this day, we're doing it. Yeah, you're right. They point out all his errors.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but it was nighttime and now it's daytime. It's going back and forth. You knocked over that headstone.
Like, it's clearly fake.
It's clearly fake. Like, can you try just a little bit? And then Ed has a panic attack, and then he puts on women's clothes to calm down.
Yep.
He did not direct in women's clothes. That was something I learned in the documentary. They're like, no, he never wore it on... well, the one girl, she's like, he never wore it on Bride of the Monster. I don't think there's any reports of him wearing it other than Glenn or Glenda when he had to.
When it was part of the scene, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all like, what are you wearing? And he's like, why don't you accept me? And it's like, what did you think was going to happen, buddy?
They're Baptists.
I know. So he flees to a bar where he meets his hero, Orson Welles. This never happened. Played by Vincent D'Onofrio.
But
you want to say the fact?
They dubbed his voice because they didn't like the way he did it.
Do you know who dubbed his voice?
I forget who. No.
Maurice LaMarche.
Who's that?
He's Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Because Brain was an Orson Welles voice.
Oh, he was.
And he was really good at doing Orson Welles impressions.
Well, the financing just fell through for the third time on Don Quixote.
So apparently, Vincent D'Onofrio's voice just wasn't cutting it, so they got him to come in. And now I can't not think of Pinky and the Brain because you ever watch those? The people found outtakes of like drunk Orson Welles being mad in the recording booth, or that wine commercial that he did.
Yeah.
Fred Champagne. They did a Pinky and the Brain thing where Brain just recreates it perfectly.
Oh my god!
So now whenever I watch this, I just keep thinking of the fucking cartoon mouse. But yeah, again, never happened.
Yeah.
But they're showing how they're like similar. They're like, I can't get studio backing. They're getting in the way of this. He says the studio wants me to cast Charlton Heston as a Mexican, which is touch of evil. But I think when I was looking it up, I think Orson Welles chose to have Charlton Heston play Mexican. Like, I mean, it's weird. It's a great movie. It is weird. That tan looks really weird on Charlton Heston, but it was his decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think he was like super progressive.
But the studio was cutting his stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was after he got... They let him do what he wanted for
Citizen Kane.
And then Hearst got pissed. And then all the producers are like, okay, well, let's rein him in so we don't get more angry. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think they cut one of his movies to have a happy ending. I forget. They really did fuck with him a lot.
They did.
He dated Vampira on and off. She mentions that.
Really?
And then she mentions that he gave her the clap, and everyone behind the camera starts laughing. They left it in the documentary. I'm like, holy shit.
That's about all I have to say. I don't want to talk about his giving me clap or anything.
What about...
But yeah, in between, like he was separated from his girlfriend or something. But yeah, he like would hook up with Vampire, and I'm like, or maybe she's lying. I don't know. Vampire was funnier than I thought she would be.
Good for her.
That part, I had to rewind. I'm like, what did she just say? But yeah, he tells him like, if you have a vision, it's worth fighting for. Orson Welles probably should have said, what exactly is your vision?
What is the vision first?
And then when he told him, he'd be like, you don't have to fight that hard for that one. You can make some changes.
Yeah.
Not every vision needs to be fought for.
Yeah.
He's remotivated. He comes back. And he's like, hey, we're going to do it my way. And you can't infringe on my vision or whatever. But then he does start to compromise a little bit.
He goes with the new name.
Yeah. He's like, Plan 9 is a better name. Which the one guy was saying that like the church said the movie made no money and they couldn't find it, but then the actor found out that it was released. Someone called, like, hey, there's a movie called Plan 9 and you're in it. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm in something called Grave Robbers. I think maybe they were doing something shady.
Oh yeah, that's
so yeah, we're seeing him make like all the famous scenes from like the airplane set that's just like a curtain and a clipboard.
Oh yeah, you got like the plates on the string.
Those weren't plates. Those were actual UFO models.
Yes,
They actually had flying saucer model kits. But yeah, same idea. Over the Hollywood sign. I don't like how the guy does the "your stupid mind." He doesn't deliver it like the guy in the movie does.
Your stupid minds. Stupid. Stupid.
You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid. Stupid.
And I know that because I've heard that line delivery a million times because they played in Halloween H2O.
Oh.
When they find Joseph Gordon-Levitt dead, that's my co-star from The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
When they find him dead, Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's my first exposure to Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, snap.
And I remember being like, not even thinking it was like a real movie. I'm like, what is that?
Right, because I mean.
You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid. Stupid. It's enough out of you. Oh yeah, that was another thing he got mad at. That they got this nice, like, handsome actor. He's like, you're casting without me.
Well, because he was also, again, he was like from the church.
Yeah.
So like you need to put the church man in.
He's not that bad of an actor. Watch him play 9. Like he's a decent actor.
I mean, for everyone else in this movie.
Yeah, he's in a shit movie, but he's a decent actor. I do like Bunny, like not being upset with how the alien looks.
Right, he
Like,
wanted the glitter.
Plan 9.
Right? But that's what I mean. Like this movie, $700,000, and they still, like, obviously you're not going to get a real plane, but like the cardboard is what like drives me nuts about like the amount. I'm just like, you know?
But yeah, he finishes his film and the movie premieres. Vampire didn't get to see most of the premiere. She apparently was supposed to like come out on stage during the premiere, like how she was saying it, but like they kept screwing it up, and then right before her part came on the movie, they had to get her out of the theater to be on some TV show.
Oh no!
And she says she never saw the movie until 1980.
Wow.
Because eventually they started playing it.
Oh yeah.
Like on TV and whatnot. But yeah, he has this whole moment. He's like, "This is the one. This is the one they'll remember me for." And it's like. Yeah, but not like positively. They're gonna make fun of it for decades and decades and decades. But yeah, then it has like this, like happy, sappy ending where they're like, the car is like covered in rain because it's always raining in LA apparently. And it's like so she's like, what if it breaks down? And he's like, oh, we'll see how far we get. And it's like, oh wow, he made his movie and he found true love. What a happy ending. And then the title card tells you that he died a penniless drunk.
Yes.
It's like, wow,
like,
threw a real damper there at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird that they went so accurate with the end titles after like this dramatization of like this like picture perfect ending. And I'm just like, oh, it's like, well, actually, he like made a bunch of like nudie films and then he died drunk.
And,
He had a heart attack. He got evicted from his apartment, was staying with a friend, and then he had a heart attack while he was at his friend's place. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. That's sad. What else happened? Dolores actually got a good career, as we said.
Got to be a songwriter for.
To write for Elvis and shit.
Right? That's great.
Everyone else went on to kind of do stuff. Dr. Tom got to be in other movies, but got to show his face.
I love that little add-on. He showed his face.
Yeah, I don't know if Lugosi's movies outsell Karloff's. I didn't really check that.
I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I would say I don't know actually. So my mom was always a Bela Lugosi fan. She was always really into Dracula. So like I knew him before I knew Boris Karloff because like I watched all of Bella's films before I watched The Mummy or Frankenstein.
Same. I had like a Bela Lugosi collection that I got from like Best Buy.
So I don't know, but like I don't know if that's like the norm for people because again, I just like that is like my mom just really liked him.
Yeah, he was a good actor.
I mean, he's great. I mean, they're both great. I recently watched The Mummy for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, he's like very captivating on screen.
I love when he eventually becomes the doctor in the later Frankenstein movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he comes back as the doctor in some of the later ones. It was a fun role reversal for him. Like, oh, that's clever. I like that.
So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I just...
No. I don't know. They're both fine. Both got a good body of work.
Yeah.
I guess Karloff just had a longer career, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got to be in The Grinch.
That's right, as the narrator.
But hey, Bela Lugosi got to be in Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla.
Great.
That's a real movie. It has like a weird Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis knockoff in it. Like not Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, but they look like Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. He was in The Devil Bat. Devil Bat was good. Not really. Trying to think what other good Bela Lugosi movies are there. I think Bowery at Midnight might be one of the first movies that have undead zombies in it at the very end.
Okay.
Like how we know it as dead bodies brought back to life, not like voodoo zombies.
Right, not, yeah.
But yeah, Ed Wood. Tim Burton's Ed Wood.
Yes.
This probably is his best movie.
I like it a lot. I think so.
It's got to be up there with Edward Scissorhands and Big Fish. I think
I like Big Fish too.
I feel like those are like the top three of his best movies. I know
Yes.
people are now yelling at me, Batman. Yeah, watch my Batman reviews. I love that movie, but it has like some serious script issues. But yeah, no, these are like the most personal to him, those three.
Yes, you can tell.
Yes. But yeah, this one, I love the way it looks. I love that it looks like an old black and white Hollywood film. It didn't do well financially, I think.
I don't think so.
I forgot to mention Vampira was played by his then girlfriend, Lisa Marie, years ago. Yeah, he broke up with her and went behind her back with Helena Bonham Carter on the set of Planet of the Apes. Which means, and I mentioned this before, that means Tim Burton had to have a conversation with himself because they were in makeup all the time when they filmed. He had to think, which girl looks better, is a hotter ape lady? And he had to weigh the pros and cons.
Oh my God.
And he decided that Helena Bonham Carter was the hotter ape lady. I've never had to have those decisions in my life. The things that happen on movies.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's a great film. If you like movies, if you ever made movies, you can learn a lot of what not to do.
Yes. Good negative barometer.
If you're on a tight budget and tight time, you can learn. You can try some of these things in Ed Wood. Just don't do it all the time. Like Roger Corman was famous for pumping out stuff, and not all of his movies were good.
Right.
But occasionally some of them would be successful. He knew how to ride trends and whatnot. Mm-hmm. He was good at reuse. He did like the reusing stuff the good way. It's like, hey, we built this set, but we can shoot other movies on this set.
Right. I mean, they still do that all the time too.
The Terror is one of the worst films he ever made. With Boris Karloff and Jack Nicholson.
What?
They made the movie because they still had a haunted house set. Yes. So they just quickly came up with an idea. And the movie makes no sense. At some point, they've lost all the sets, so Dick Miller and Jack Nicholson are just talking in front of like a bush because there was no set anymore. And they the whole scene is just in close.
Yes.
And the plot's nonsensical. They just wanted to film another movie while they were there. Yes. Roger Corman kind of did it the right way. But he would have a hit every once in a while.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, you can learn a lot about filmmaking from this. Again, mostly what not to do. Don't try to be like Ed Wood.
No.
Do not try to be like Ed Wood.
No.
Or you're going to die a penniless loser. You might get a girlfriend at least. He got a girl at the end.
He did get a girl.
Yeah. And feel free to wear sweaters. That part you can do. Wear women's sweaters. That's fine. Don't ask for permission. That's fine. But yeah, this was a fun time, Angela.
This was, yeah.
Now, Angela, as we've said many times, we're in a very real cemetery.
Right.
But not everyone can afford a real cemetery to film in.
Correct.
So if they wanted to make a fake cemetery that looks very real,
yeah.
Where could they go to film something like that if they lived in the Philadelphia area?
There is a studio.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
It's my studio.
Whoa!
So yeah, Angela Wolf Video have a studio in South Philly. If
And you can make that studio look like a cemetery.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have like a black cloth and like a shrubbery or something in there, fern tree.
Yeah, we could like make something happen.
And here I am. I probably have to do so much post-production on the audio because all the birds and
oh yeah, you can hear like
the wolves howling. Yeah. And I could have done this in your studio with controlled lighting.
Right, soundproofing.
Thank God the moon has not moved once during this recording.
It's been really like holding steady for us.
Well, in the future,
you can always come over.
I will come to Angela Wolf Video for all my fake cemetery or any other needs.
Right.
If I want to put on a unlicensed Jurassic Park experience and get into trouble, I will do that here again.
Just throwing out ideas.
And where can we find you on socials and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm just like on Instagram and TikTok at Angela Wolf Video.
Okay. I also tag your personal one sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Do you want me not to do that or?
I don't let strangers follow me on my personal one. They try though. Every time you tag me, I get people trying to follow me.
Why didn't you tell me not to?
I just was flattered that you tagged me.
Because I never know if like they want the business or the personal one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Girls have to tell me ahead of time.
I know. I'm a lot of my business stuff would not appeal to your audience because it's all corporate, boring things.
That's fine. Just don't ask me who the followers are. Prison Mike. Yeah, someone will follow Prison Mike and be like, "Do you know this person?" I'm like, "I don't know. They probably follow the show. I don't know everyone."
I'm very flattered from everyone who tries to follow me, but after I too have had a stalker incident, I really limit my personal account to only people I know.
Luckily, they can look up the address of this place. Anyway,
that's all. Yeah.
It's pretty good security here. Yeah, so follow her on there. Check out Angela Wolf Video. Let us know what you think of Ed Wood. Is it one of your favorite movies? Do you think it's the best Tim Burton movie ever? Let us know. And Angela, I'm going to let you know how my party goes that my good friends are throwing me here at the cemetery.
Well, you tell me since I was not invited to it.
They're threatened by you.
That's what I figured.
They're intimidated by you. They're just like, we don't like that girl.
Yep.
And I say, I get that. I don't like her either. Anyway, so I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna wait for my big party. Bye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.